54%. Chapter 261. What's the use of just showing gratitude with your eyes? What you need is actual actions. Well, after Xiao Zhan said these words, Ziling and Ziluo both lowered their heads. A hint of embarrassment appeared on their pretty faces. Actually, I am her sister-in-law. Just when Xiao Zhan's eyes were suspicious, Ziling said a little embarrassed. It turns out to be my sister-in-law. Xiao Zhan nodded when he heard this. He didn't react at first, but he realized something was wrong the next moment. His eyes couldn't help but widen at this moment, looking at these two people with shock on their faces. He thought the two were sisters, but he didn't expect them to be an aunt and nephew. His son is too cool, right? These sisters, aunts and nephews are already there. Should I have a couple next time? Ahem, the young man has his own ideas, so he might as well stop meddling in other people's business. Ha ha ha, don't worry about it. We monks don't need to care too much about your seniority in the world. As long as you really like Chenur, the Xiao family will be your root from now on. Seeing Ziling and Ziluo looking a little embarrassed, Xiao Zhan laughed and said nonchalantly. Xiao Chen also coughed dryly and said after seeing this. Ziling and Ziluo are both leaders of the Xian Chamber of Commerce. If the Xiao family wants to expand its industry in the future, they can discuss it with them and formulate a good plan. Although he has a lot of resources in his hands now, if he gives some resources to the family, he can squander them for a long time. But teaching a man to fish is not as good as teaching him to fish. The Xiao family cannot be supported by him alone, the entire family must learn to develop and grow. If not, when everyone in the Xiao family gets used to this kind of life of enjoying nature, I am afraid that the entire family will become corrupt soon. So, he can provide some resources to the Xiao family, but the Xiao family must also learn to develop on its own. Well, a few elders and I will discuss the detailed development plan later. Xiao Zhan nodded when he heard this and understood what Xiao Chen meant. Whether a family can truly become strong depends on each member of the family being able to support themselves. Xiao Chen has brought such excellent conditions to the Xiao family, but if other clan members will only settle for the status quo, they will be parasites living on Xiao Chen. This kind of thing must not be allowed to happen. When Xiao Zhan's thoughts came to an end, Xiao Chen introduced Luo Yulian to Xiao Zhan. Xiao Zhan, Xiao Mingyi and others were almost frightened to the point of weakness when they learned that Luo Yulian turned out to be a powerful person in the Supreme Realm. As for Huo Lingji, because he had not come out from the retreat in the Blood Fire Pond, the ancestral land of the Huo family, he could not bring him to the Xiao family this time. After, Xiao Chen also helped Xiao Zhan, Xiao Mingyi and others to upgrade their talents to the Saint King level. Even the core techniques practiced by the Xiao family were upgraded to the Saint King Supreme grade in one go. After all, he still has more than 13 million points, so it is reasonable to spend millions for his relatives. After doing all this, Xiao Chen did not stay in Xiao's house. After upgrading several Bright Moon spiritual heart grasses, Yunxi was convinced and fell into a deep sleep. He took Michelle Yeoh and several elders of Wanwaman to drive the double-headed magic dragon chariot directly to Wanwaman. And this time, they just wanted to connect Duan Muzuying and Duan Muzuying, so Kaiyan, Lu Ruoxian and others did not follow. Certainly, in order to avoid any accidents, Xiao Chen still brought the 5 elements undead corpse puppet. Well, here is another beautiful picture of Ziling, so there is no short story in this chapter. I can't believe it's been almost a month since I came out. Enter the double-headed dragon chariot. Lu Hanfei looked at the clouds and mists that kept whizzing by, with a look of emotion on his face. In fact, 1 month is a short time for them. In the past, they would retreat at random, and it might take several months or even years. But this month, what they experienced with Xiao Chen was simply more exciting and thrilling than what they had experienced in more than 100 years. Even cultivation. There were also breakthroughs one after another in this month, which they had never dared to think of before. Yes, I don't know what happened to the sect master, the great elder, and senior sister Danqing. If they knew our current talents and cultivation, they would definitely be shocked. After Lu Hanfei finished speaking, Yun Zhiro also said with emotion. As the talents and qualifications of several of them were promoted to Saint King Supreme grade by Xiao Chen, their cultivation levels also made breakthroughs again. Michelle Yeoh has reached the peak of the 9th level of Heaven and Human Realm, and may break through to the Saint Realm at any time. Lu Hanfei and Li Qingying have both entered the 8th level of Heaven and Human Realm. Even Shi and Li Mengru, the two at the bottom, have broken through to the 7th level of Heaven and Human Realm. Compared to a month ago, there is a huge difference. And all of this is thanks to Xiao Chen. When the thought came to an end, Lu Hanfei, Yun Jiro and others all looked at Xiao Chen with splendor. If they had not met Mr. Xiao, they would not only have to suffer the backlash of Yin Qi, but also be lonely for the rest of their lives without knowing the taste of love between a man and a woman. You two. Why are you staring at the young master like this? Just when Lu Hanfei, Yun Jiro and others were looking at Xiao Chen gratefully, Michelle Yeoh walked out of the pavilion and said. She just saw Xiao Chen walking into the pavilion, and she wanted to take Xiao Chen to fix the foot of the bed. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, the other party was not only no longer in the pavilion, but standing in the corridor blowing the wind. We are just grateful to the young master. Seeing the appearance of this senior sister who had always been a bit nervous, Lu Hanfei, Yun Jiro and others quickly looked away. Each of them said with a slightly red face, "Thank you, sir." Hearing the words of Lu Hanfei, Yun Jiro and others, Michelle Yeoh showed a charming smile on her face. Then he looked at Xiao Chen, who was looking straight ahead with a serious look on his face, as if he was in a fugue. Her white arms were like water snakes. He immediately wrapped it around Xiao Chen's waist. What's the use of just showing gratitude with your eyes? What you need is actual actions. You must know how to give full play to your own strengths, and use your tenderness and warmth to make the young master's heart, which has nowhere to rest, be tolerated and released. After saying that, Michelle Yeoh hugged Xiao Chen's arm and inadvertently puffed up her chest. Sir, do you think? Is Zaichong right? Quote. Lu Hanfei and Yun Jiro heard Michelle Yeoh's words and saw each other's actions. They all turned their heads with blushing faces, wanting to say something. You are really coquettish. Why use tenderness and warmth to release the young master's heart? Isn't it just that little thing? He said it so elegantly. However, although I think Michelle Yeoh is very sexy, it is undeniable that this statement is indeed reasonable. Showing gratitude with actual actions is much better than just looking at it. In less than an hour, we will arrive at Wanhua Gate. Feeling the amazing elasticity, Xiao Chen said with some helplessness. This woman, the enthusiasm for that aspect is definitely no less than that of Kai Yan and Kai Dai. Master, wouldn't it be nice if you asked this big guy to fly slower? It's nothing important anyway. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Michelle Yeoh's breath was like orchid, and her voice was faint. Junior sister Hanfei and the others told me. I haven't discussed the path of cultivation with you for several days. They just learned some good moves, but they can't even use them. Master, can you bear to let them work behind closed doors? Senior sister, you. When Lu Hanfei and others heard this, their eyes widened and they looked at Michelle Yeoh angrily. This coquettish senior sister. It's obvious that he thinks it, but he doesn't mean it's them. But, if the young master is willing, it is actually not impossible. When thoughts fall, several people did not refute Michelle Yeoh, but looked at Xiao Chen expectantly. Well, Shu Lai Yi too. You really can't do things behind closed doors. It can easily lead to depression and illness. Forget it, I will take some time to verify with you, master, and see what good things you have learned in the past few days. Looking at these eager looks, Xiao Chen is not a hard-hearted person. He nodded immediately. After saying that, Xiao Chen also walked into the pavilion, surrounded by Michelle Yeoh and others. Ready to start teaching karma. 54%. Chapter 262. The relationship between the same disciples for more than 100 years has finally faded away. It's getting dusk. Thousand Flowers Gate. Duan Mu Zuying stood in front of Baihua Pavilion, looking at the red sunset. Her expression became a little melancholy. Are you thinking about him again? Just when Duan Mu Zuying was lost in thought, a voice suddenly rang out. Duan Mu Zuying's figure also appeared in front of the hall. Seeing her sister suddenly appear, Duan Mu Zuying was slightly startled, then a smile appeared on her face. Obviously it's only been about a month, but I feel like many years have passed. The ancients once said, "One day without seeing you is like 3 autumns." I used to be unable to understand the true meaning of this sentence, and I even felt that the relationship between men and women was just the same thing. But now, my sister has discovered that there is really a kind of lovesickness, called 3 autumns apart. Facing this sister who was 2 years older, Duan Mu Zuying revealed her lovesickness without any concealment. Wouldn't mind at all. Will Duan Mu Zuying laugh at her? After 2 days, after the affairs within the door have been arranged, you can go and find Mr. Xiao if you want. After looking slightly stunned, Duan Mu Zuying spoke softly. What about sister? Duan Mu Zuying looked at Duan Mu Zuying, and her words echoed in a low tone. I don't believe that sister wouldn't want to find the young master. Although the last time Duan Muzuing volunteered, part of the reason was because he wanted to break through Saint Realm. But based on her understanding of her sister, if the other party does not recognize a man, even if he ends up in the celestial human realm forever in this life, he will not sacrifice himself to break through the realm. Even during this time, she often saw Duan Muzuing standing in the main hall, looking at the big bed as if she was missing something. It seems to be up there. The figure of a certain man remains, and the smell of that person remains. As the leader of the Wanhua sect, I must take charge of the overall situation in the Wanhua sect. How can I do it just for the sake of my children's personal relationship? Duan Muzuing's eyes flickered when he heard this, and he spoke in a low voice. But before he finished speaking, he was interrupted by Duan Muzuing. Sister is deceiving herself again. Duan Muzuing glanced at Duan Muzuing, and then spoke in an extremely serious voice. Some days ago, Han Fei and the others sent a message. The young master already has more than 10 beauties around him, and each one of them is a wonderful woman with extraordinary talents. If we don't take the initiative and follow the young master, I'm afraid that everything in the future will be nothing more than casual love. These words fell. For a moment, Duan Muzuing's body trembled slightly, and he couldn't help but feel a little panic in his heart. Really, if there are enough women around Xiao Chen, and all of them are excellent. Even if they had a substantial relationship with Xiao Chen. But because they are not by each other's side, as time slowly fades away, they may just become old friends. Sister, how about we serve him together next time the young master comes? When Duan Muzuing felt a little flustered, Duan Muzuing said something shocking again. This made Duan Muzuing suddenly raise his head and look at his sister in shock. Last time, when she was alone, she felt unable to let go. If she were with Duan Muzuing, wouldn't she be so embarrassed that she would explode? Let me consider it. After being silent for a while, Duan Muzuing gritted his teeth and said, "Put yourself down like this to please a man. Both mentally and physically, I have completely lost myself. It seems to be a bit difficult for her at the moment." Roar. And just when Duan Muzuing finished speaking, a dragon roar suddenly came from the void, causing both of them to raise their heads sharply. What a terrifying roar is this? The Saint Realm monster. When the thought fell, Duan Muzuing took the lead in distorting the space, and his figure appeared directly in the sky. Dragon roar. Could it be? Master. Thinking of the information that Michelle Yeoh and others had with her a few days ago, Duan Muzuing couldn't help but reveal a touch of ecstasy on her face. The figure also rushed high into the sky. After the two of them took to the air, the double-headed demon dragon chariot also approached the Wanhua gate, and its terrifying power caused the void to continuously shake. It's actually a two-headed dragon that entered the Saint Realm late stage. Duan Muzuing's pupils shrank slightly as she looked at the approaching double-headed demon dragon chariot. Within this month, after successfully transforming her skills, her cultivation level also broke through to the Saint Realm, but she only entered the first level of the Saint Realm. Facing the dragon that entered the Saint Realm late stage, she had absolutely no chance of winning. Sister, it's the young master. Young master is coming to Wanwaman. Just when Duan Muzuing was feeling heavy, Duan Muzuing flew over and spoke excitedly. What? That's the young master. Duan Muzuing was shocked when she heard her sister's words. That is the double-headed dragon chariot, the young master's exclusive chariot. A few days ago, Zaichong mentioned it to me when she was summoned, but I saw that my sister was absent-minded these days, so I didn't tell her about the young master. But it can't be wrong that this should be his palace. Seeing Duan Muzuing's expression of disbelief, Duan Muzuing spoke in a somewhat rushed voice. And between the two of them communicating, the double-headed magic dragon chariot had already arrived in front. After roaring, it stepped into the void and immediately hovered in front of the two of them. Looking at the terrifying big guy in front of him, Duan Muzuing's heart was filled with turmoil. Only a month gone, the young master can actually use the magic dragon that entered the Saint Realm late stage as a cart slave. After helping Sister Zhang Li fix the faucet, she knelt down and thanked me, saying that she would be crazy to come to me next time the faucet breaks. Whose faucets often break? Senior Sister Zuying. Senior Sister Zuying. When the two were restrained by the two-headed dragon puppet, Michelle Yeoh and others flew out from the pavilion, waving to the two with excited faces. Mr. Duan Muzuing and Duan Muzuing's eyes trembled when they saw several figures flying out from the chariot. Next moment, the two sisters couldn't suppress their boiling lovesickness, and at this moment they jumped over Michelle Yeoh and others and rushed to the back. He directly hugged Xiao Chen from left to right, making Michelle Yeoh and others freeze in place. "Sir, it's so nice to see you again." Holding this strong body, Duan Muzuying took a deep breath and murmured with a trembling voice. Although Duan Muzuying did not speak, she hugged Xiao Chen's waist tightly. This surprised Xiao Chen, and of course he was a little touched inside. I didn't expect that these two people would miss him so much after not seeing each other for a month. On the contrary, this month has been spent surrounded by beautiful people, and it seems that I have to make up for it in the future. Oh, it's fated. The feelings of being together for more than 100 years have finally faded away. When he saw Duan Muzuying, he ignored them and rushed over to hug Xiao Chen. Michelle Yeoh said with a sad face. "Sister Zaichong, stop pretending. You are rushing to the front because you just want to show off to senior sisters Zuying what you have achieved during this period of practice and how you are getting along with the young master." Seeing Michelle Yeoh's face full of pain and sorrow, Lu Hanfei curled her lips and said, "You damn Hanfei, are you itchy?" After being exposed by Lu Hanfei in public, Michelle Yeoh looked at the other party with arrogance. Lu Hanfei's complexion changed in fright, and she quickly stayed away from this crazy woman. She was afraid that the other party would rush over and drug her. "Okay, are you junior sisters still watching?" Feeling that Duan Muzuying still refused to let go, Xiao Chen spoke softly and helplessly. As these words fell, Duan Muzuying released their hands, but the former raised his head with a red face. His voice suddenly sounded a little anxious. "Master, tonight in Baihua Pavilion, my sister and I want to give you a surprise. Will you come?" 54%. Chapter 263. In this life, they are indeed with the right person. Surprise. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned when he heard Duan Muzuying's words. He glanced at the two of them suspiciously. When he saw Duan Muzuying's face turning a little red, he had some realization at this moment. The corners of his mouth raised a slight arc. "No matter if there is a surprise or not, as long as you invite me. Young master will naturally not refuse." Duan Muzuying trembled when she heard this, raised her head and glanced at Xiao Chen, then lowered her head with a blush. This scene, Duan Muzuying next to her was shocked. Just now who felt that he couldn't let go and said that he needed to think about it. He was even more proactive than her. Is this called considering? Is it possible? She had thought wrong before. Her sister is actually cold on the outside and hot on the inside, but is she even more coquettish than her after letting go? By the way, where is Danqing? After scanning the void, noticing that Xu Danqing was nowhere to be seen, Xiao Chen asked with some confusion. That heroic woman looked a little cold. But no matter what, she is also his woman. This time when he came to Wanwaman, in addition to meeting Duan Muzuying, he naturally would not neglect this beauty. Danqing, she should be in retreat now in Myriad Treasures Pavilion. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Duan Muzuying sighed and said helplessly. Xu Danqing's character is relatively withdrawn. Even last time, due to the red incense dragon's lustful powder in the body, I lost my virginity in a daze. Based on the other person's character. With the support of good feelings and kindness, although she had no resentment toward Xiao Chen, the other party chose to close the relationship. Almost the day after Xiao Chen left, Xu Danqing went into retreat in Myriad Treasures Pavilion. And communicated with her. Unless Wanwaman encounters a crisis, she will not leave easily again. This method, in the opinion of Duan Muzuying, they undoubtedly wanted to completely forget Xiao Chen. Is it in retreat? After hearing Duan Muzuying's words, Xiao Chen couldn't help but frown, and he somewhat understood what the other party was thinking. But he didn't allow this idea. Although it was an accident that the other party lost her virginity to him, it could not change this reality no matter what. Although he is affectionate, he is not ruthless, and he has a strong possessiveness. Of course, he also has a strong sense of responsibility. How could the other party be allowed to live alone in seclusion for the rest of his life? Next, I will go to the Myriad Treasures Pavilion and negotiate with her. When the thought falls, Xiao Chen whispered to the two of them, which immediately made the two women's faces look happy. They couldn't talk to Xu Danqing. But if Xiao Chen, the person involved, goes there, it may be possible for the other party to come out again. Let's go down first. When the two people's thoughts were changing, Xiao Chen waved his hand to the two-headed dragon puppet to find a place to stay, and then led a few people into the Baihua Pavilion below. After a tiring day, as soon as I returned to my big villa, classmate Medusa asked me where I was fooling around. If the task tonight is not up to standard, I won't be able to sleep. What a sin. What, young master, this trip is going to take us to the 10,000 demons cold abyss and enter the supreme secret realm of the 10,000 demons cold abyss. Inside Baihua Pavilion, Duan Muzuiying and Duan Muzuiying both looked shocked after hearing Xiao Chen tell them the purpose of their trip. Obviously, he didn't expect that Xiao Chen would experience so many things in just 1 month. Not only going to Shiwandishan, rescued Yun Zhuro and Li Mengru, and also shattered the conspiracy of Zhenan King Yang Pojun. Successfully rescued the Qingqiu Fox clan and directly destroyed the Zhenan Palace. Later, in the Daqian Imperial City, not only did they conquer the Xian Chamber of Commerce, they even conquered the Daqian Emperor. Go to the Endless Desert. Not only did he kill the Sirius Emperor, but he also saved the Snake people from danger. He also rescued Queen Medusa's sister and captured a pair of sisters again. In less than a few days. He also used absolute force to suppress and conquer the Dongyuan Huo family, and even destroyed the Hengshan Mo family and conquered a Saint King. Now, which Saint King has broken through to the Supreme Realm? Listening to Michelle Yeoh, Liu Hanfei and others talking excitedly about what happened in the past month. Also, after Xiao Chen finally revealed the purpose of his trip, Duan Muzuiying and Duan Muzuiying were shocked and numb. In just 1 month, from the dynasty to the top level of Dongwang, this period of time has been so magnificent. Unfortunately, because the two of them failed to stay with Xiao Chen, they missed the opportunity to see the vastness of the world. This made Duan Muzuiying and Duan Muzuiying even more determined to stay with Xiao Chen in the future. You guys have practiced a special joint attack battle formation. Once you join forces, the power that comes out is extraordinary. Plus, one of the 4 supreme warriors swallowed by this supreme secret realm is a warrior from the Taiyan sect. And the Taiyan Gate. It was when the ancestor of the Wanhua sect was training in the cold abyss of all demons that he found the source of the remaining secrets of the Bible. This means that the Wanhua Gate is actually born out of the Taiyan Gate. If you can enter the secret realm at this time, you may be able to find some opportunities. Seeing the shocked expressions on Duan Muzuiying and Duan Muzuiying's faces, Xiao Chen patiently explained at this time. Sir, you don't need to explain too much. Wanhua sect. From the moment I was saved by you, the entire sect belongs to you. We, the higher-ups, are also your people. So as long as you ask, we will not refuse. After Xiao Chen finished speaking, Duan Muzuiying showed a smile and spoke in a very gentle voice. This soft look that rarely appeared suddenly made Michelle Yeoh and others' eyes widen. Hiss, senior sister Zuiying. Can she be so tender sometimes? In the past, when she made a small mistake, the other party would suppress her on the spot. She was not so gentle then. Having said that, but you are all special in my heart, and you are not tools that can be manipulated at will. So there are some things that we still need to ask clearly. If you don't want to, or if there's something else, I won't force you. Xiao Chen smiled lightly when he heard this. To some subordinates or irrelevant people, he can issue orders without hesitation, without caring about their opinions. But for your own woman, you can't do this. Even if the other party thinks that he can control their destiny, Xiao Chen will still choose to discuss it with the other party. This is his respect for his woman. Son. Hearing Xiao Chen say a few words, Duan Muzuiying and others' bodies suddenly trembled, and their eyes couldn't help but tremble at this moment. My heart was directly moved to a complete mess. In this world, there are many strong men who have multiple partners, but they all regard them as accessories. He basically won't listen to any of their opinions, and can even decide their fate arbitrarily. I didn't expect Xiao Chen. When he can control their lives arbitrarily, he actually chooses to give them some respect, which is simply something that many strong people cannot do. In this life, they are indeed with the right person. In the next 2 days, you will settle everything in Wanhua clan, and then follow me back to the Xiao family to meet my father and several elders. Then we are going to the 10,000 demons cold abyss. Seeing the moved faces of Duan Muzuiying and others, Xiao Chen smiled lightly and said, well, everything depends on the young master. Duan Muzuiying nodded. Looking at Michelle Yeoh, Liu Hanfei and others, his voice became majestic at this moment. Zi Chong, Han Fei, Qing Ying, Ji Ruo, Mengru. Next, you guys have full authority to arrange all matters of the Wanhua sect, big or small. If you don't know what happened during this period, you can ask Xinyu or Jinger. After these words fell, Michelle Yeoh's face fell instantly, and she looked at Duanmu Zuying aggrievedly. Senior Sister Zuying, can you? Cannot. Before Michelle Yeoh finished speaking, she was interrupted by Duanmu Zuying. If you dare to be lazy, do you think I will suppress you on the cliff of thinking and let you reflect on it for a while? As these words were spoken, Michelle Yeoh grimaced and was escorted out by Lu Hanfei and others. Hateful. Aren't they just two sisters who want to eat alone? She actually used her status as the sect leader to oppress her. This senior sister was so abominable. Sir, Shui Ying, it seems that you are only one step away from breaking through to the celestial human realm. Why don't you let us two sisters use secret methods to help you break through? This can be considered a surprise from us. After carefully sensing Xiao Chen's cultivation aura, Duanmu Zuying and Duanmu Zuying looked at each other, then blushed and spoke to Xiao Chen. Help me break through the celestial human realm. Hearing Duanmu Zuying's words, Xiao Chen's eyes lit up slightly. After these few days of hard work, his cultivation has indeed reached the peak of the 9th level of universal truth, and he is only one step away from entering the first level of heaven and man. If he can break through before entering the secret realm, it will undoubtedly be very beneficial to him in the future. When Xiao Chen's eyes became brighter, Duanmu Zuying waved her hand to close the door of the main hall. When the gauze fell, two crystal white lights also reflected in Xiao Chen's eyes. 55%. Chapter 264. In this world, there may really be no possibility, and there is no possibility of starting over. The next day, after a night of hard training, Xiao Chen also opened his eyes again. A terrifying cultivation aura also erupted in the hall. The first level of heaven and man. Feeling that his cultivation had entered a new realm, Xiao Chen couldn't help but raise the corner of his mouth. It has only been almost 2 months since Transmigrate came here, and his cultivation level has been upgraded from Kaiyuan realm to celestial human realm. The life of cheating is really very strong and abnormal. Congratulations, young master, for entering the celestial human realm level. Maybe he will be able to catch up with us in a while. When Xiao Chen slowly gathered his cultivation aura, Duanmu Zuying leaned over and blew her breath like orchid. It's thanks to you two this time. Otherwise, I'm afraid it would have been delayed for a few days before we could break through. Feeling the softness coming from his back, Xiao Chen replied with a faint smile. The secret techniques of Duanmu Zuying and Duanmu Zuying are indeed special. It was actually possible to refine the true energy in his body using the method of dual yin and yang. Not only did his cultivation foundation become stronger, it also allowed his cultivation breakthrough to reach a perfect level. Then young master should reward us. After all, last night, in order to be distracted and help the young master refine his true energy, Zuying couldn't really enjoy himself. After hearing Duanmu Zuying's 2 words, Xiao Chen didn't say anything to refuse him. He laughed immediately. It just so happens, master, I haven't had all the fun yet, so let's go completely crazy together. After these words were spoken, exclamations of surprise rang out in the hall. A new game has begun again. Late at night, the moonlight is like water. Thousand Flowers Gate, deep inside Myriad Treasures Pavilion. He.is back. A woman who looks equally beautiful, but has a heroic look between her brows and looks somewhat heroic. Looking at the bright moon outside the window of the main hall, he then sighed melancholy. This person is Shu Danqing, the second elder of Wanhua sect. Now that his cultivation level has reached the peak of the 8th level of heaven and human realm, he can break through to the 9th level of heaven and human realm at any time. Forget it, he and I were just an accident, and we had no interaction before. Perhaps in his heart, it's just a do. Looking at the bright moon in the sky, Shu Danqing murmured before crossing her legs again and adjusting her breathing. Trying to suppress the remaining distracting thoughts in my mind. Among the major celestial human realm elders of Wanhua sect, although she has a very good appearance, her figure is not as plump as others. In addition, she has a relatively withdrawn personality and does not take the initiative to please others. I think that young man probably doesn't like her. So, it's better to forget the ridiculous experience that day and continue practicing with concentration in the Myriad Treasures Pavilion. And just when Shu Danqing finished her thoughts, she closed her eyes and prepared to meditate. The sound of footsteps suddenly came, causing her to open her eyes suddenly. In the Myriad Treasures Pavilion, no one else can enter unless she actively activates the formation. Certainly, some strong men who have reached Saint Realm can directly tear apart the space and sneak in after determining the spatial coordinates here. And inside the Wanhua Gate, Duan Muzuying is the only strong person in Saint Realm, but she can't sense his aura now. Could it be other Saint Realm strong men? Just as Shu Danqing finished speaking, a figure walked out of the shadows. Mister. Seeing the handsome and young face in front of her, Shu Danqing's pupils couldn't help but shrink. This face would appear in front of her from time to time since that day when she lost the most precious thing in her life. Could it be that she couldn't suppress distracting thoughts, which led to hallucinations? I didn't expect you to be hiding here alone. If Zuying hadn't sent me in, I would have had some trouble finding you. Seeing Shu Danqing's shocked face in front of her, Xiao Chen walked in and said in a soft voice. No, not a hallucination. After Shu Danqing heard Xiao Chen's words, she was completely panicked at this moment, and then turned around in a panic. Let yourself calm down forcibly. Mr. Danqing doesn't blame you for what happened that day, but she doesn't want to mention it either. From now on, I just want to concentrate on practicing, and let the events of that day go with the wind. In a trembling voice, Shu Danqing took a deep breath and gritted her teeth to say these two sentences. Are you minding it? There is no relationship between you and me. And you don't want me to have to take responsibility for you because of that incident. This will make you feel a little grudge. That's why you're hiding in the Myriad Treasures Pavilion and want to concentrate on practicing and forget about me. Hearing Shu Danqing's trembling words, Xiao Chen looked thoughtful and continued in a low voice. But feelings are something that can be cultivated slowly. No matter what, you and I have had a relationship before, and you, Shu Danqing, are my woman. This is indelible. After Xiao Chen said these words, Shu Danqing's body trembled violently. There was only one sentence echoing in my mind, you Shu Danqing are my woman. This sentence, although it was not said loudly, there was something undeniable about it. Her heart couldn't help but tremble. As long as I'm not willing to let go, there's no point in escaping. When Shu Danqing's body and mind were trembling, Xiao Chen leaned close to Shu Danqing's back and directly wrapped his arms around the other person's waist. This made Shu Danqing tremble and she instinctively wanted to struggle. But not yet waiting for the other party to struggle. Xiao Chen turned around and kissed Shu Danqing very domineeringly. All of a sudden, there was only a roar in Shu Danqing's mind, and the true energy and strength that had just been gathered disappeared inexplicably at this moment. Under the moonlight, inside the main hall, light and shadow intersect. Make it inside Myriad Treasures Pavilion. It also ushered in an unquiet night. The next day, after giving an explanation to classmate Medusa overnight, a guest came to the house. Her name was Qin Yining. She was my mother-in-law's best friend. She looked so young and gentle. On the other side, inside the pavilion, the two figures looked into the Baihua Pavilion, looking a little sad and lonely. Senior sister, we were obviously the first to know the young master, but now, we are not even qualified to stand by each other's side. Looking at Baihua Pavilion in the distance, one of the women, who looked pure and beautiful, said to the other person with a sad voice. These two people, it was Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing, the two most talented young people of Wanhua sect, and the two disciples of Duan Muzuying. Maybe we really missed it. If the two of us can take the initiative before coming to Wanhuaman, maybe. After hearing Li Wanqing's words, Nangong Jing said equally sadly. Maybe. They can also get a little kindness from Xiao Chen, so that the young girl's budding spring heart can get some comfort. Unfortunately, there are no possibilities in this world. Xiao Chen is now not only the master of Wanhua sect, but also the man of their master Duan Muzuying. How could the two of them have any inappropriate thoughts? But senior sister, I won't give in. I just like Mr. Xiao. I just want to be his woman. Even if it's just to be by his side and be a maid who warms the bed, I'm totally willing. After hearing Nangong Jing's words, Li Wanqing said emotionally. After saying the last sentence, he seemed to have been drained of all his strength, with a look of disappointment on his face. But as my senior sister said, in this world, there may be no possibility, and there is no, if you can do it again. Oh, idiot. Just when Li Wanqing finished speaking with excitement, her face also showed disappointment and sadness. As a sigh sounded, a figure appeared in the pavilion. Master, Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing were both startled when they saw this familiar figure in front of them. Did not expect. They were thinking about Mr. Xiao here, but Duan Muzuying caught him. Master, I thought you were absent-minded during this period. I didn't expect that all of your hearts were focused on the young master. It's really a bad fate. Looking at Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing in front of her, Duan Muzuying's face showed a hint of complexity. If you really can't forget it and plan to follow the young master to your death. Master, I will ask for you, if the young master agrees. From now on, you will serve the young master together with my master. After Duanmu Zuying finished speaking, Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing raised their heads in disbelief, and then their faces showed excitement and ecstasy. 55%. Chapter 265 Young Master, there are a few old acquaintances who want to meet you. I wonder if young master is willing to reward them. The next day, as Xiao Chen walked out of Myriad Treasures Pavilion, Xu Danqing followed behind. Just came out. Eyes fell on the two of them one after another, causing Xu Danqing's usually cold face to blush. Hee, it turns out that we still have to take action from the young master so that senior sister Danqing can come out obediently. Seeing the man and woman walking out, Xu Danqing blushed for the first time. Michelle Yeoh couldn't help but joked. Are you itchy? After being teased by Michelle Yeoh, Xu Danqing immediately looked over. Like before, Michelle Yeoh dared to tease her. She picked up the sword and chased him from the Wanhua Gate to the outside of the mountain gate. From then on, Michelle Yeoh was still quite afraid of her, but she didn't expect that she would dare to tease her now. You have broken through to the 9th level of heaven and man. After feeling the aura of cultivation on Michelle Yeoh's body, Xu Danqing couldn't help but condense her eyes, with a look of shock on her face. Last month, Michelle Yeoh has just broken through to the 7th level of heaven and human beings. Unexpectedly, only 1 month later, she has broken through to the 9th level of heaven and human beings. When you are with the young master, breakthroughs are normal. Didn't senior sister also break through to the 9th level of heaven and man? After hearing Xu Danqing's words, Michelle Yeoh said proudly. As the 3rd elder of Wanhua sect, his cultivation level has caught up with Xu Danqing and others in just 1 month. This makes Michelle Yeoh feel very proud in her heart, and of course she has enthusiasm and admiration for Xiao Chen. If he could receive a little more blessings from Xiao Chen, his cultivation could continue to soar. Young master is indeed a strange person. Xu Danqing was slightly startled when she heard this, and looked at Xiao Chen beside her. Thinking of last night, after being baptized by Xiao Chen for 2 hours, her cultivation reached the peak of the 9th level of heaven and human realm, and she felt that she could break through to the saint realm at any time. And before that, she was still preparing to reach the 9th level of heaven and human realm, but she didn't expect that it would be so easy to improve now. Sure enough, there is no use working behind closed doors. You still need to communicate along the way of cultivation. Think of this. Xu Danqing's face became even redder, but she saw other people looking at her. She quickly calmed down and her expression returned to normal. Zuying, Danqing, Zaichang, the 3 of you should break through to the saint realm first. We will return to the Xiao family in Luyun City tomorrow. After the 2 women finished speaking, Xiao Chen spoke at this time. Now that the talents of several people have been upgraded to Saint King Supreme grade by him, it will be easy to break through to Saint Realm. Although entering the Supreme Secret Realm, the cultivation level must be in the Celestial Human Realm. But if you can break through to the Saint Realm now, you can feel the mystery of entering the Saint Realm level. When one's cultivation retreats to the 9th level of heaven and human realm, the combat effectiveness that can be exerted is even more amazing than before the breakthrough. After all, a big difference in realm. There is a terrible gap in the control and use of true energy. This was also before. Why was Lu Ruoxian able to easily suppress Luo Yulian, who was at the 9th level of Saint King with his cultivation at the 8th level of Saint King? So, if a few people can break through to enter the Saint Realm, and then fall to the 9th level of heaven and human realm, the guarantee of this trip will be greatly improved. Well, we are going to break through now and then go outside the Wanhua Gate to transcending tribulation. Duanmu Zuying nodded when she heard this. So fast. Can you let me and the young master? After hearing Duanmu Zuying's words, Michelle Yeoh said with a look of astonishment. Just wanted to say, could you let her and Xiao Chen be gentle for a while, but she was forcefully taken away by Duanmu Zuying. Xu Danqing saw this. After nodding towards Xiao Chen, he followed the 2 of them into the sky. A few of us are going to protect senior sister and the others. Seeing Duanmu Zuying and others preparing to rush into Saint Realm outside Wanhua Gate, Lu Hanfei, Li Qingying and others looked at each other and then spoke to Xiao Chen. Although I don't think anything unexpected will happen, there is no room for carelessness in this kind of thing. Not to mention, being able to watch fellow seniors break through to Saint Realm will also be of great benefit to them in the future. Almost as soon as the words fell, Lu Hanfei, Li Qingying, Yun Zhiro, and Li Mengru also turned into streams of light and rose into the sky. Outside the myriad treasures pavilion, only Duan Muzuying and Xiao Chen were left. It turned out that something happened at Aunt Chin's house and she wanted to borrow money from her mother-in-law. I threw out $200,000, which moved Aunt Chin so much that she said she would repay me in the future, hee. Sir, there are some old acquaintances who want to meet you. I wonder if the master would be willing to show their favor. After looking at each other, Duan Muzuying suddenly laughed. Old acquaintance. After hearing Duan Muzuying's words, Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. You mean, Elder Han Xinyue and your 2 disciples? Look at the entire Wanwaman. Those 3 people were the only ones who could be called old acquaintances. After all, the reason why he was able to come to Wanwaman and get to know Duan Muzuying and others. It was these 3 people who took the lead. Young master is really smart. Duan Muzuying sighed softly when he heard this, and his words were a little complicated at this time. After the 3 of them separated from the young master, they all felt a little bored. When they learned that the young master had come to Wanwaman again, they all wanted to see him. Hearing Duan Muzuying's words full of complex emotions, Xiao Chen seemed to have thought of something at this moment. Don't they want to sacrifice themselves? After Xiao Chen said these words, Duan Muzuying's expression froze slightly. Did not expect. Xiao Chen saw through it immediately and said it so straightforwardly. I have enough women around me. When Duan Muzuying's expression suddenly froze, Xiao Chen said helplessly. Although Han Xinyue, Nangong Jing and others are very good and got to know him before Duan Muzuying and others, there are so many women around him now. There is no shortage of confidant. Taking in Han Xinyue, Nangong Jing and others doesn't seem to be of much help to him. Except, master, don't you want to have a taste of what it's like to be a master and a disciple together? Seeing that Xiao Chen didn't seem to be very moved, Duan Muzuying gritted his teeth and gave up at this moment. He immediately put his arms around Xiao Chen's waist and said softly. Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing were her disciples. She almost trained him single-handedly. She was both a teacher and a mother to the 2 of them, and they had a very special master-disciple relationship. If the 2 of them found out that Xiao Chen didn't want them, they might be shocked to the point of collapse. How could she bear to see this happen? And Han Xinyue, among the many deacons and elders in the inner sect, he can be said to be the most outstanding one. It is the most promising one to break through to the celestial human realm. When I was practicing in the past, I had received her care and was regarded as her follower. The other party also likes Xiao Chen very much. There was no reason why she could only fight for the 2 disciples and not this young elder. After the other party found out about this, he was so shocked that he became autistic. Master and apprentice. After hearing Duan Muzuying, Xiao Chen took a deep breath and his expression was shaken. Actually, I not only regard them as disciples, I even regard them as daughters. Young master, you can also think that I am their unrelated mother. If you think about it this way, isn't it exciting? Seeing that Xiao Chen's expression seemed a little shaken, Duan Muzuying blushed and said seductively like a succubus. Don't you want me to hear them call me master and mother in the future? Then, young master, you should understand what I mean. After saying that, Duan Muzuying's face turned red and hot, and she wanted to dig a hole to bury herself. But in order for the 2 idiots to be happy, she had to seduce Xiao Chen like this, just for fear of not being able to impress him. Hiss, you succeeded in sleeping clothes. Bah, you succeeded in convincing me. After hearing these words, Xiao Chen couldn't help but take a deep breath and looked at Duan Muzuying in shock. He didn't want to be moved. But there is no way. Duan Muzuying is really good at selling, and almost every word he speaks is based on his hobbies. If he refuses again, he will be a little uncharacteristic. 55%. Chapter 266 Returning to the Xiao family again, the 3rd random recycling. They are waiting in Baihua Pavilion now. Young master, please go and see them first. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Duan Muzuying also looked happy. You don't come together. Xiao Chen raised the corner of his mouth slightly when he heard this, and asked directly at this time. This made Duan Muzuying stiffen slightly, and her face became even redder in an instant. Sir, this is their first time, and they can't help but let go now. Let's wait until later. Duan Muzuying looked at Xiao Chen tenderly, and said in a confident voice, fearing that the other party would misunderstand. Shui Ying will definitely fulfill his promise to the young master in the future. When the young master subdues them, I will go back and slowly train them, and then give the young master a surprise later. Finished. Duan Muzuying couldn't help but lower her head. Fortunately, Duan Muzuying, Michelle Yeoh and the others left, otherwise her image as a senior sister would have completely collapsed. Well, remember what you said, don't keep the young master waiting too long. After smiling at Duan Muzuying, the two of them came to the Baihua Pavilion. Sir, they are waiting inside, you can go in by yourself. Looking at the great hall in front of him, which had endured more than a few baptisms, Duan Muzuying spoke softly. Xiao Chen nodded and immediately walked into the hall. Several familiar figures also came into view. As the door of the main hall was closed once again, several people also expressed their feelings in the main hall. The next day, after Duan Muzuying and others completed the transcending tribulation and everything was arranged, Xiao Chen and his party also teleported back to the Xiao family. Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing, after experiencing the first baptism, their cultivation levels broke through to the Grotto Heaven realm. Han Xinyue has reached the 9th level of universal truth. And this time, because all the top management of Wanhua sect are mobilized collectively, there cannot be no one in the sect to stabilize the overall situation. So after some discussion, Han Xinyue chose to stay. Now her cultivation has reached the 9th level of universal truth, and she can be regarded as the first deacon under the celestial human realm. With her in charge of the Wanhua sect, there would be basically no trouble inside the sect. Not to mention, Xiao Chen placed a space array disc in Wanhua Gate, which will be very convenient for the group of people to come back next time. The Xiao family in Luyun City. As a beam of light rose into the sky, a double-headed demon dragon chariot also emerged. And with the previous experience, although everyone in the Xiao family was not so sensational, they all came out happily. I saw the double-headed magic dragon on top of the chariot. Xiao Chen was surrounded by a group of white-haired beauties. Xiao Zhan, Xiao Mingyi and others all looked surprised. Good boy. In less than 2.5 days, all the senior officials of Wanwaman were brought back to the Xiao family. If this kind of thing happened in the past, it would shock the entire Great Qian dynasty. Father, several elders, this is the sect leader Duan Muzuying of Wanhua sect, and the other two elders Duan Muzuying and Xu Danqing. And these two are Zuying's disciples, one is named Nangong Jing and the other is named Li Wanqing. Of course, like Sister Mayor, they are also my beauties. When Xiao Zhan and others looked over, Xiao Chen also introduced them to everyone. Duan Muzuying and others all looked a little reserved, and they all greeted Xiao Zhan and others with slightly red faces. This scene, Xiao Zhan and others were shocked again. Duan Muzuying and Duan Muzuying are biological sisters, Nangong Jing and Li Wanqing are Duan Muzuying's disciples, and these people are all Xiao Chen's confidant. This seniority and status is really a bit confusing. After the stepsisters, aunts and nephews, there comes another master and apprentice. Could it be that his son really wanted to go crazy? However, he was shocked. Xiao Zhan didn't say anything at this time and immediately responded enthusiastically. In just a few moments, with Michelle Yeoh and others taking the lead, Duan Muzuying and others became familiar with Kai Dai and others. Xiao Chen felt very pleased to see this scene. Now that his cultivation has broken through to the celestial human realm, and his royal palace skills have been upgraded to the Saint King level, he can handle even a dozen women. As for things like resources, they increase with cultivation. It's just going to snowball. When he later trains a group of empresses who can help him conquer the world without opening his mouth, it will be a very comfortable life to think about it. After Aunt Chin chatted with her mother-in-law for a long time, she reluctantly left. Before leaving, she quietly told me that she wanted to go swimming with me. How could this be embarrassing? Son, when we meet again after a long separation, shouldn't we be a little tender? After chatting with Duan Muzuying and others, Kaiyan came to Xiao Chen and said in a faint voice. This made Xiao Chen couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. He has only been away for 2.5 days. Is this time called a reunion after a long separation? Ahem, I have to help Ruoxian purify the dark and ominous power later. How about waiting later, the young master can pamper you again. After hearing Kaiyan's words, Xiao Chen coughed twice and said. This made Kaiyan's eyes light up slightly, and she almost wanted to reward Xiao Chen in public. I also want. You two don't want to eat alone. Seeing her sister and Xiao Chen whispering to each other, Katie quickly came over to protest. This made Xiao Chen feel a little helpless. Ding. The system's random recycling function has been reset. Will the host perform new recycling? Just when Xiao Chen was about to say something, the system prompt sounded suddenly. This made Xiao Chen stunned for a moment, and then he showed a hint of ecstasy. The random recycling function has actually been cooled down. Unexpectedly, time flies so quickly. It has been a month since he last picked up Lu Ruoxian. I don't know what I can pick up this time. Sir, why are you so happy all of a sudden? Did you think of joining me and my sister? Xiao Chen suddenly looked ecstatic after she interrupted. Katie suddenly said shyly but happily. But before she could finish her words, she was rewarded severely by Xiao Chen. What are you thinking about in your head every day? Xiao Chen couldn't help but roll his eyes when he heard this, and knocked Kai Dai angrily. Sir, could it be that your special recycling ability can be used again? Colorful smoke on the side. He asked uncertainly, as if he thought of something. Xiao Chen said, that special recycling ability can be used once a month. At this point in time, it is almost a month since the last time. That's why Kaiyan asked. As expected of the young master's caring queen, you can even guess this. When Xiao Chen heard this, he glanced at Kaiyan appreciatively. And at this time, Xiao Zan and others also felt that it was not good to stay in the courtyard any longer, so they left Xiao Chen's inner courtyard with Xiao Mingyi and other elders. After all, the courtyard is full of Xiao Chen's women, and it's awkward for them and the elders to be around. Qingshe, Sister Mayor, all of you, please stay back. It's best to stand next to Ruoxian and others. After Xiao Zan and others left, Xiao Chen said to everyone seriously. Every recycling is random, you don't know what will be picked up, and you don't know if it will be dangerous. The first time I picked up Kai Yan, the other party was seriously injured and on the verge of death, so there was no danger. And the second time, picking up Nirvana's reborn Lu Ruoxian, she not only turned into a willow stake, but was also surrounded by dark and ominous power. It would be very dangerous then. If you don't have enough cultivation, you can touch the other person without permission, but you will die suddenly on the spot. This time, I don't know what the hell I'll pick up yet, but it's always a good idea to be cautious. Next, after explaining to Lu Ruoxian, Luo Yulian and others, Xiao Chen cleared a large open space in the courtyard. Then a random recycling command was issued to the system. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successful monthly random recycling. The recycled items are being sent back to the host. 55%. Chapter 267 The Daughter of the Lord of the Abyss. The Future Demon Queen. As the system prompt tone fell, a burst of white light shone. In the distortion of space, an object suddenly appeared. The eyes of Xiao Chen and others were slightly condensed at this moment. Because what appeared in front of everyone was an egg as tall as a person. The whole body is covered with very ancient lines, and there is even a faint black aura lingering around. An inexplicable bloodline pressure caused the expressions of everyone present to change. It's like this weird black egg is pregnant with some very terrifying creature. As this demon energy. Feeling the cultivation aura surging on the egg, Lu Ruoxian's expression became very solemn at this moment. Devil. It is a special dark power derived from the aura of heaven and earth combined with the negative emotions of living beings. Generally speaking, when ordinary creatures' negative emotions reach their extremes, and too much negative emotions are incorporated into their own strength, they may develop terrible demonic energy. This is what practitioners call being possessed by a demon. Of course, this kind of demonic energy is not very pure, because it is filled with too much negative power and can easily make the owner cruel. Even under the erosion of demonic energy, he became an irrational monster. Of course, this is only for ordinary creatures, but for some special races. Demonic energy is just a special kind of powerful force. For example, the Abyss Demon Clan. He is born with the ability to absorb the aura of heaven and earth and free negative emotions, condense extremely pure demonic energy in his body, and will not be eroded by the demonic energy to the point of losing his mind. And the high-level demon royal family. It can even easily arouse the dark side of other creatures, causing them to become possessed and turn into monsters in a short period of time. This egg possesses such pure demonic energy. Could it be that it is a descendant of the evil demon race? But when Lu Ruoxian looked on guard, Xiao Chen looked at the black egg in front of him with a curious look on his face, and then used the system identification function. Liang Bing. This is the daughter of the Lord of the Abyss and the next queen of the demon clan. But because more than 3,800 years ago, in the Battle of the Abyss World Guardian, he was severely wounded by the Emperor of the Holy God Clan. The Lord of the Abyss defeated the powerful men of the Holy God Clan and the Angel Clan at the cost of burning lifespan, and completely sealed the entrance to the Abyss world. He then used secret techniques to help Liang Bing reshape his body and turn it into the most primitive devil egg. But because the soul is incomplete, it can only recover by sleeping in the egg. At present, the soul has recovered 70%. If it returns to its complete form, it can break out of the shell and reappear in the world. After much deliberation, I didn't think of a good demon image, so I pulled her over to replace it. Super God Liang Bing, the demon queen, just her. Let's get an image first. The daughter of the Lord of the Abyss, the future queen of the evil demon race. Seeing the basic information displayed in front of him, Xiao Chen couldn't help but have a look of astonishment on his face. Although I still don't know what kind of hell the Abyss world is. But what emerged from this information was the Emperor of the Holy Gods, the Lord of the Abyss, and even an angel. It sounds amazing when you hear it. This time, the system seems to have picked up another woman with a terrifying background. Depend on. He just wants to pick up an emperor weapon or something, but why does the system always pick up women? Doesn't it feel like he doesn't have enough women? Sir, do you see the origin of this egg? When Xiao Chen was shocked, he also felt pain in his balls. Qian asked with some confusion. In addition to having a special teleportation ability, Xiao Chen seems to have some extremely mysterious identification ability and can see some information that ordinary people cannot see through. Just like last time, Xiao Chen had just picked up Lu Ruoxian, and he could tell where Lu Muzhuan was coming from just by looking at him. This ability is simply terrifying. I can see something. Xiao Chen nodded when he heard this. However, he did not rush to explain the origin of the egg, but looked at Lu Ruoxian aside. After pondering for a moment, he asked in a low voice. Ruoxian, you should know about the Abyss world, right? As this sentence fell, Lu Ruoxian's expression changed, and she looked at Xiao Chen in shock, and then looked at the egg solemnly. Abyss world, could it be that this is really the descendant of an evil demon race? After this thought flashed through my mind, Lu Ruoxian's expression gradually became calmer, and she looked at Qian and others looking at her curiously. She said in a low voice, the Abyss world is a small world based on the Kanglan realm. The entrance is located under the Emperor's Fall Abyss in the middle region of the Kanglan realm. Although I have never been to that place, according to what some ancestors of the Eastern Domain said. There is a dark world full of killing, and there are endless monsters living in it. That's the so-called demon race. A terrifying race that can naturally absorb the aura of heaven and earth and the negative emotions of living beings, and turn them into demonic energy. And tens of thousands of years ago, this race once stepped out of the Abyss world and had a war with other races in the Kanglan realm. In that battle, countless creatures in the central area of the Kanglan realm were killed and injured, and dozens of powerful emperors were killed, forming an abyss billions of miles long. That is the current Emperor Luo Abyss. But later, with the rise of the Holy God clan and the Angel clan, and becoming dominant in the middle region of the Kanglan realm, the Demon clan was also forced back into the Abyss by the two families. Even more than 3,800 years ago, the Holy God clan and the Angel clan joined forces, and the battle went straight into the Abyss. The evil demon race was almost destroyed by the two races. It was the Lord of the Abyss who sacrificed himself in the end, burning his longevity to activate the evil demon race's extreme Dao Emperor weapon, and successfully severely damage the great Emperor of the Holy God clan and the Angel clan. Only at the cost of self-proclaimed abyssal plane can we keep the evil demon race from the hands of the two major clans. As he spoke, Lu Ruoxian had a look of emotion on his face, and his words were somewhat complicated at this time. But today's central territory, this is the world owned by the Holy God clan and the Angel clan. Strong men from other races dare not enter without authorization. So I'm not very clear about the current situation in the Abyss world. I learned this from the mouth of a powerful beast race emperor. There are 5 major regions in Kanglan realm, namely Southeast, Northwest, and Middle. A large domain is extremely vast, at least hundreds of millions of miles across. Even though she was a powerful person at the 8th level of the Emperor before, she basically only moved around in the Eastern Domain. After all, except for a few restricted areas, the Eastern Domain is the territory of the human race and the beast race. In other areas, various terrifying races live. Emperors and powerful men from other races do not dare to enter it casually. If they are not careful, they will cause a race war. In addition, she used to be indifferent by nature, and would not step into other realms unless it was necessary. Therefore, what we know about other large areas is not particularly comprehensive. The Abyss world is not within the Eastern Domain. After hearing what Lu Ruoxian said, Xiao Chen couldn't help but clicked his tongue. Unexpectedly, the system's random recycling spanned hundreds of millions of miles. Isn't this distance too abnormal? Sir, you asked about the Abyss world. Is it possible that this egg is a descendant of the demon clan? When Xiao Chen was shocked, Lu Ruoxian also asked. Good. Xiao Chen didn't give in when he heard this, and said in a low and heavy voice. She is the daughter of the Lord of the Abyss and the future queen of the demon clan. After Xiao Chen finished speaking, not only Kyan and others were frightened, but Lu Ruoxian also looked shocked. Although I know Xiao Chen's random teleportation ability is a bit special, but is it a little too outrageous? He actually brought back the biological daughter of the Lord of the Abyss, the future queen of demon race. Then what are you going to do now? After calming down, Lu Ruoxian asked in a solemn voice after glancing at the devil egg. 55%. Chapter 268 Heaven Saint King, you little bitcha, I will definitely kill you. After hearing Lu Ruoxian's words, Xiao Chen's eyes flickered slightly. After thinking for a while, he said curiously. According to what you just said, the demon clan broke out of the abyss thousands of years ago and started a fierce fight with the creatures in the central realm. Have they ever set foot in the eastern domain and had any grudges with the strong human beast race men? According to the results identified by the system, Liang Bing was also an emperor-level expert before, although he only reached the second level of the emperor level. But when she was seriously injured and about to die, the Lord of the Abyss not only sacrificed himself, but also used secret methods to help her rebuild her body. He even imparted his remaining cultivation base and tens of thousands of years of cultivation experience to the other party. That is to say, if Liang Bing can repair his soul and break out of his shell, it won't take too long for his cultivation to gradually break through to the 9th level of the Emperor. He is bound to be the next Lord of the Abyss, and of course the only king of demon race. If you can conquer such a being, you will have a lot of help around you in the future. As for the Holy God clan and the Angel clan, the central region, which is hundreds of millions of miles away, has nothing to do with him at the moment. As for late stage, when he grows up, he doesn't need to worry about these two races. So what we need to consider now is whether there is any blood feud between the evil demon race and the strong eastern domain human beast race. If so, it is a pity that the daughter of the Lord of the Abyss can only be treated properly and coldly. Find a place to throw it away and let it fend for itself. Or be cruel and erase it and recycle it. That's not true. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Lu Ruoxian shook his head and said. After the demon clan left the Abyss world, they started fighting with the Angel clan and the Holy God clan. Although we were able to suppress the two major tribes at the beginning, we were unable to completely annex the two major tribes. Naturally, we did not have the energy to occupy other major regions. As he spoke, Lu Ruoxian seemed to have remembered something, and added in a complicated voice at this moment. Of course, there are many humans and beast races in the central domain, but they are all slaves of the angels and holy gods. They have nothing to do with the humans and beast races in the eastern domain. So the feud between the evil demon race family has nothing to do with the eastern domain. After Lu Ruoxian finished speaking, the corner of Xiao Chen's mouth curled up. Demon race has no grudge against eastern domain. This proves 99% of the powerful people in the eastern domain have never come into contact with the evil demon race. This is good news. Sir, do you want to help her resuscitate? Seeing a smile on Xiao Chen's face, Kyan realized something at this time. He asked with a bit of surprise in his voice, and his expression looked a little worried. Although the demon clan has nothing to do with the eastern domain. But this is demon race after all. It is a race that cultivates the power of darkness, and its character should be very cruel and bloodthirsty by nature. If you help him recover, in case the other party loses control, the consequences are simply unimaginable. Don't worry, if I choose to resuscitate her, I will naturally leave some backup options. Xiao Chen waved his hand after hearing this, with a look of confidence on his face. With the superposition of the system's favorability contract and the soul seal of life and death, even monsters without consciousness must be controlled by him. If he doesn't choose to conquer the other party, it seems that he will be sorry for the system's recycling this time. So, we can only turn this daughter of the Lord of the Abyss, the future queen of the evil demon race, into one of our own. When his thoughts fell, Xiao Chen walked towards the dome. If Xian Yulian is on guard, others should stay back. After giving instructions to the girls, Xiao Chen stood in front of the deviled egg. Then he burst into cultivation to condense the soul seal of life and death, and pressed his palm directly on the devil egg. And at this time, because Liang Bing's soul was in a state of incompleteness, the other party didn't react at all and allowed the soul mark of life and death to melt into the egg shell. System, repair this future demon queen. At the moment when the soul seal of life and death was integrated, Xiao Chen also gave instructions to the system. Ding. The system has deducted 2.8 million points and is repairing all injuries to the demon Liang Bing. Almost as soon as Xiao Chen finished speaking, the system prompt sounded. A dazzling white light shone throughout the inner courtyard at this time. Liang Bing, who was inside the devil egg, had his soul state completely restored. A terrifying wave of demonic energy immediately erupted inside the devil egg. The entire devil egg trembled violently at this moment, as if the devil queen was about to revive. It actually cost 2.8 million points. Thinking of the last time he repaired Lu Ruoxian, it only cost 2 million points. Unexpectedly, repairing Liang Bing this time would cost as much as 2.8 million. This is after the opponent's soul state has been repaired to 70%. It seems that last time, Lu Ruoxian's injuries were at least 80% repaired after being reborn in Nirvana. It's just that he was haunted by the unknown power of darkness and could not completely revive and turn into a human form. Otherwise, it would be impossible to repair an emperor's injuries by spending only 2 million points. Master, be careful, she's coming out of her shell. Seeing the devil egg trembling continuously, a very terrifying aura erupted like a volcano. Lu Ruoxian, Luo Yulian and others said solemnly. Xiao Chen also stepped back a little at this moment. Boom. Almost immediately after Xiao Chen retreated, a jet black beam of light erupted from the devil egg into the sky. The entire devil egg also floated into the air. Dark purple lines continued to spread on the devil egg. The layer of metal-like eggshell melted strangely at this moment. And towards the eggshell, a curled-up figure continued to merge into the integrated union. Directly on the opponent's body, a set of tight leather armor is formed. Well, here is another picture of Liang Bing. If I have urban clothes in the future, I will write her into a short story. Oh my god, Saint King, you little bitcha, I will definitely kill you. Next moment, Liang Bing's eyes suddenly opened, and a murderous intent flashed in them. A pair of ferocious demon wings spread out on her back in an instant as the words echoed. A terrifying coercion swept across the surrounding area. The surrounding space exploded and collapsed instantly. Fortunately, Lu Ruoxian and Luo Yulian were prepared and blocked the sky above the Xiao family at this moment. He didn't let this coercion endanger anyone. You just recovered, but your cultivation level has reached the supreme level. If we give her some more time to recover, wouldn't she be able to return to the level of the emperor? Feeling the aura of cultivation on Liang Bing's body, a look of shock appeared on Xiao Chen's face. But why does this guy have such a thick smoky makeup? Isn't the taste a bit too strong? Looking at the void. Liang Bing's face was green and fanged. Not only did he have a pair of ferocious wings on his back, but he also had thick smoky makeup on his face. Except for her more powerful figure, there is no other beauty. Xiao Chen couldn't help but feel a little confused. Does this demon queen like to act ugly? Well, where is this place? After roaring, he suddenly saw that the surroundings were very unfamiliar, and the world was not filled with evil energy. Liang Bing was stunned for a moment. She remembers. She should be at the entrance to the abyss, fighting with the angels and holy gods. When she was fighting with the Saint King, a golden light suddenly penetrated her, and then she lost consciousness. Boom. Just as Liang Bing was deep in thought, there was a roar in his mind. Memories kept pouring into her mind, causing her body to freeze in midair, and then she began to tremble violently. 56%. Chapter 269. Another one who was deceived by the young master. It seems that there will be another good sister. Sir, what's wrong with her? Seen above the void. After Liang Bing roared inexplicably, he froze in midair and couldn't help but tremble. Kyan asked solemnly. Although she didn't know what was going on, she could feel it. This demon queen is emotionally unstable. She should be in the integrated union. The inherited memory left to her by the Lord of the Abyss. Xiao Chen glanced at Liang Bing and said in a serious tone. If you are an immortal, you are pitiful. If you suppress her at any time, she might go berserk. If he learned that all the demon clan was defeated, and the Lord of the Abyss had to sacrifice himself, he would activate the Extreme Dao Emperor weapon to seal the entrance to the Abyss. And if he helps her reshape her body and initiate cultivation, I am afraid that the demon queen will collapse emotionally on the spot. Angel clan, holy god clan. You damn bitcha, I will fight you till death. Really. Not long after Xiao Chen finished speaking, Liang Bing really became furious on the spot. The destructive demonic aura swept across like a storm. The whole world instantly became dark, and the entire Luyun city began to tremble violently. Calm down. I saved you. I didn't want you to lose control of your emotions here after you woke up. When Lu Ruoxian and Luo Yulian burst into cultivation, they worked together to seal the void. Xiao Chen's words exploded in the void like thunder, making Liang Bing's eyes clearer. Human race. After hearing these words, Liang Bing looked down. After seeing Xiao Chen's figure, her body trembled slightly. There was a sense of intimacy in her heart, which made her feel a little confused. In her mind, the human race is a slave race that seems to be the angel race and the holy god race. She has no good feelings at all in her heart. How could she have a good feeling for a human man today? You save this king. When he was feeling doubtful in his heart, Liang Bing's figure fell down and looked at Xiao Chen doubtfully. She had no memory of what happened before. But with this special sense of intimacy, this human man should not be lying. And according to the memory left to her by her father, the Lord of the Abyss, it should take her another 1,000 years to completely repair her soul and cultivate her integrated union. Unexpectedly, he recovered early and was not yet in the demon blood pool. This proves she really had to be rescued so that she could be resuscitated and wake up early. But what method did the human man in front of him use to bring her here from the demon blood pool? Why should we save her? Humans and demons. Aren't they mortal enemies? After Aunt Chin left, I saw classmate Medusa posing in the gym, saying that she wanted to practice pole dancing and that she could dance for me in the future. How could I like this? I know your doubts, I will explain everything to you slowly. Can you restrain your cultivation aura? Seeing Liang Bing's devilish aura and staring at them with vigilance, Xiao Chen frowned and tried to comfort him. With such a big commotion, other people in Luyun City thought that a demon was born. Although the Eastern Domain human beast race is strong and has nothing to do with the evil demon race, it is better to keep a low profile as much as possible. Quote. It seems that Xiao Chen and others don't have any malicious intent. After Liang Bing hesitated for a moment, he also restrained his cultivation aura. My name is Xiao Chen, and I am your savior. After Liang Bing calmed down, Xiao Chen didn't waste any time and explained straight to the point. The place where you are now is not the Abyss world, nor is it the Kanglan Central region. But it's in the Eastern Domain billions of miles away. What? After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Liang Bing's expression changed drastically. Looking at Xiao Chen in disbelief. Billions of miles away. There is also a plain entrance to a small world in the middle, and it is still sealed by the extreme Dao Emperor weapon. What kind of teleportation ability is so awesome? Feeling horrified and unbelievable in his heart, Liang Bing couldn't help but check Xiao Chen's cultivation. But I feel the energy around the opponent was in chaos, which not only made her feel a little shocked. Could it be? Is this a peerless warrior from the human race? Don't be surprised. Although my master's cultivation level is only at the first level of heaven and human realm, he possesses innate abilities that are very rare in the world. Seeing the shock on Liang Bing's face, Xiao Chen said calmly. In addition to being able to interfere with the surrounding qi induction, I also have a very special teleportation ability. You can summon and transport a random item from Kanglan realm to my eyes. What a coincidence. Just when I thought I could recall some treasure, I didn't expect to teleport you here from the abyss. Seeing that you and I are destined to be together, but your soul is severely injured and you fall asleep, I will rescue you. So, I am your savior. After saying that, Xiao Chen looked at Liang Bing quietly, preparing to see how the other party would react. Wait a minute, let me take a look. After hearing what Xiao Chen said, Liang Bing felt like his head was in a mess. A human monk from the celestial human realm. Not only did he teleport her from the abyss world to the eastern domain hundreds of millions of miles away, but he also restored her emperor-level soul to a complete state. Are you sure this isn't a story? But the extremely real feeling in front of me, and the inherited memory in my mind. They are all telling her. It's all real. So, you want me to surrender to you? After sorting out everything in silence, Liang Bing looked at Xiao Chen solemnly. He asked in a low voice. She, but the daughter of the Lord of the Abyss and the future queen of the demon clan. Now with the death of her father, and the cultivation has been integrated into her body. She is the greatest evil currently known in the abyss world. If she is allowed to surrender to a human man, how will she face the demon clan when she returns to the abyss world? But the other person is her savior. Although she is a devil, she also knows how to repay kindness. This actually put her in a bit of trouble. No, you misunderstood. After hearing Liang Bing's question, Xiao Chen suddenly felt that something was wrong and continued in a soft voice. I will not let you surrender. After all, you are the queen of the evil demon race. I just want you to follow me as a protector and help me deal with some troubles. Protector. Liang Bing's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard this, and there was a look of hesitation on his face. This identity. It seems more honorable than surrendering. As the queen of the evil demon race, it sounds reasonable to protect her savior. Yes, it's the protector. We are equals. If you don't mind, you can call me young master from now on. I'll just call you Liang Bing. Seeing Liang Bing's obvious acceptance, Xiao Chen spoke with a spring breeze. Wait a moment, how do you know my king's name? When Liang Bing heard Xiao Chen's words, he suddenly realized that something was wrong and looked at Xiao Chen in horror. From just now until now. It seems like you didn't state your name, right? No need to panic. This is also a special ability of mine. I can see through other people's information. Seeing Liang Bing's shocked face, Xiao Chen said with a smile. This made his image become more mysterious in Liang Bing's mind. Your current cultivation level has not fully recovered, if you are determined to risk returning to the Central Territory. Once the powerful men from the Holy God clan and Angel clan notice it, they will most likely be hunted down to death by the powerful men from the two races. It's better to stay in the Eastern Domain and accumulate strength secretly, so that you can return to the Abyss world in the future. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Liang Bing fell silent at this time. In that case, as the young master said, I will stay with you for the time being. After thinking for a moment, Liang Bing spoke. This made Lu Ruoxian, Qian and others look a little weird. Another one who was deceived by the young master. It seems that there will be one more good sister. But, this image of a demon is indeed very unsightly. The young master shouldn't be interested in this demon queen, right? Well, since you are going to be with me from now on, should you change your image? This shouldn't be your true appearance, right? While Qian and others were thinking, Xiao Chen looked at the demon queen. He said in a strange voice. A pure-blooded demon royal family should have a human form. He doesn't believe it. The demon queen in the abyss world will look like this. 56%. Chapter 270. What? I am not transmigrate, just reborn. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Liang Bing was slightly stunned, but didn't say anything. The way she looks now is indeed not suitable for walking in the human world. She looks like an alien. When the thought fell, Liang Bing's body shone with light. As the light dissipates, one has black hair and is very tall and hot. A woman wearing a tight black leather jacket also appeared in front of everyone. Wow, so beautiful. After seeing Liang Bing's true face, Kai Dai and others couldn't help but exclaimed. This face, she looks a little innocent, but also a bit like a royal sister. Even the proportions of that perfect figure are not inferior to those of Qian and Lu Ruoxian. Hard to imagine. The lusty and pure beauty in front of her turned out to be the demon queen just now. The image before and after is completely different. You are obviously so good looking, why do you dress like that? After taking a look at Liang Bing, Xiao Chen said curiously. This image looks as girly as the angel's bitcha. It doesn't have the style and temperament that the demon queen should have at all. So I don't really like it. Liang Bing said with some disgust after hearing this. As the demon queen, he needs to look more fierce to fit the temperament of a devil. But her original true face looked like an angel, with no demonic temperament at all. Therefore, in the abyss world, she never shows her true face to others. Xiao Chen couldn't help but feel speechless when he heard this. She was truly worthy of being the demon queen. Her taste was truly unique. I still like you the way you are now. If it's not necessary in the future, you should still show yourself this way. After a moment of silence, Xiao Chen said with a faint smile. Such a devilish beauty actually wears such a thick smoky eye makeup, which is simply ruining her appearance. Liang Bing nodded when he heard this and said nothing more at this time. Really, humans still like to look like angels, which makes her, the demon queen, a little disappointed. Could it be that Her devil costume is really ugly, doesn't she feel very domineering and showy? Chenur, what happened just now? When Liang Bing nodded. Xiaozan and others also turned back to the courtyard. After seeing that everyone in front of them was safe and sound, they asked in shock. Something did happen just now, but fortunately nothing happened. Seeing Xiaozan, Xiao Mingyi and others, Xiao Chen hesitated and explained with a slight smile. Then he introduced Liang Bing to Xiaozan and others. Of course, Xiao Chen still concealed Liang Bing's sensitive identity. He just said that the other party was one of his senior sisters who accidentally went crazy just now. Fortunately, it's nothing serious now. Women like Murong Qingshe and Duan Muzuying also understood Xiao Chen's good intentions at this time. I don't want Xiaozan and others. After learning Liang Bing's true identity, I was worried about it. After all, this world is too vast, and sometimes I know too many things and just let myself live in fear. Therefore, Murong Qingshe, Duan Muzuying and others all understood Xiao Chen's approach and even helped to cover it. After some pleasantries, Xiaozan and his party also left. Xiao Chen and Lu Ruoxian walked into the wing room to help each other purify the dark and ominous power again. As for Liang Bing, not long after, he got involved with Kaiyan and others, and Xiao Bicha, a group of angels, was stunned by Kaiyan and others. I didn't expect that this demon queen would look so good-looking but speak so down to earth. It made them feel a little novel, and they were almost led astray by Liang Bing. Well, here is a picture of Liang Bing looking back, so there is no short story in this chapter. Late at night, Xiao Chen helped Lu Ruoxian purify, and the two had another passionate kiss, and then traveled around the world several times. Lu Ruoxian couldn't bear it on the spot and ran away after being tortured by Xiao Chen. But this time, the opponent didn't run as fast as last time, but Xiao Chen got addicted to the handle. But next, he had to leave for Dongyuan Huo's house at any time, so Xiao Chen didn't vent his anger directly on Kaiyan and others. Instead, he came out alone to be quiet. Looking at the familiar place of the Xiao family, a strange feeling came to my heart, making Xiao Chen's expression a little complicated. All these places in the Xiao family. To him, it was so familiar and yet so strange. Unconsciously, Xiao Chen walked to the Xiao family's back hill cemetery. This is the burial place of many members of Xiao Chen's clan. Usually, few people come here. So whenever night falls, it is particularly deserted here. Nian Yun, do you know? Chenur has finally grown up. Not only has his cultivation improved rapidly, but he also has many confidants. It seems that my father is really envious. Ha ha ha, just kidding. You know I am an honest person, and I only have you, Mu Nianyan, in my heart. It's a pity. Why did you leave so early? Now that Chenur has grown up, you haven't been able to see this. As Xiao Chen walked into the Haoshan cemetery, he suddenly saw a familiar figure. He was holding a wine bottle and leaning against a tombstone. He was already a little drunk and his eyes were hazy, and he was still mumbling to himself. And this person, it was his father Xiaozan. Unexpectedly, Xiaozan, who was very stable in front of outsiders, would look so lonely at this time. This made Xiao Chen pause slightly and his expression became more complicated. In his impression, the original owner's mother's name was Mu Nianyan. She was just a woman with low talent. When she gave birth to him, her vitality was damaged due to dystocia. Later, when he was 7 years old, he died of serious illness. However, Xiaozan was unable to come back in time to see Mu Nianyan because he went out to look for treasures. In the end, it left a knot in my heart. Not only was he depressed for a long time by this incident, he also kept a certain distance from other women from then on. It can be seen that Xiaozan is infatuated with Mu Nianyan. It's a pity. I'm not the real Xiao Chen, just a transmigrator. Seeing the old father in front of him, drunk in front of his lover's tombstone, Xiao Chen laughed at himself with complicated words. As he spoke, Xiao Chen seemed to have remembered something and asked the system in a low voice. System, you said that after the original body died, did the soul dissipate? Think of this. Xiao Chen's expression became very solemn. If his body belongs to someone else, if he dies in the future, he can be resurrected using system abilities. After resurrection, is it the original Xiao Chen in this world or the Xiao Chen who was transmigrated from Blue Star? At this point, he hadn't thought about it before, but now he was horrified to think about it. Ding! The original soul did not dissipate after death, but was reincarnated as a host. Just after Xiao Chen finished speaking, the system gave this sentence. Xiao Chen was stunned on the spot. System, what did you say? Can you explain a little more clearly about why the original body died and was reincarnated as a host? When his heart suddenly beat violently, Xiao Chen asked urgently in his heart. He felt as if he had inadvertently touched his own secrets. Ding. When the system wanted to activate the bound host, the host suddenly died in the previous life, and the soul was rapidly dissipating, causing an error in the system activation. The system can only be attached to the true spirit of the host's soul, and repair system loopholes as the host enters reincarnation. But due to an error in the setting program, the host reincarnated on the blue star. After the system was dormant for 21 years, it was restarted to bring the host back and be reborn to the time when the original physical body died. After the system gave this response, there was a roar in Xiao Chen's mind. The whole person was stunned on the spot. He turned out to be the original person. No, it should be said that it is the reincarnation of the original soul after death. In other words, the original soul is actually his previous life. Whether it's Xiao Chen from the Luyun City Xiao family or Xiao Chen from Blue Star. In fact, he is the same person from beginning to end, just in the past life and the next life. But the origin of the soul, that is to say, the soul body and true spirit have not changed in essence. It's just that there is a gap in the memory level. This means that he didn't transfer his soul to his body, but was reborn into his previous life. 56%. Chapter 271. How about? Let us give you an air. It turns out, this is my body too. No wonder. No wonder the integrated union is so perfect, as if it was born with it. It's funny that I have always had a grudge before. After his mind became a mess, Xiao Chen raised his hand and looked at his palm. Feel the soul and body, as perfect as Annate's pregnancy, without any incongruity. His heart was shaking violently at this moment. In the past, he thought that it was all the help of the system that allowed him to perfectly control this body. But I never expected it. He and the original person are actually the same person, but they have lived an extra life. System, why didn't you tell me before? Trembling violently in his heart, Xiao Chen took a deep breath and asked the system in pain. How could such important information be hidden for so long? Ding. The host didn't ask before. After Xiao Chen finished speaking, the system replied mechanically. Xiao Chen almost got mad. Then let me ask you. Before I transmigrated, Nohen I was reborn and returned to this body, I was suddenly electrocuted in the factory. Was it your fault? As if he remembered something again, Xiao Chen asked the system. That switch. He had been touching it for 2.5 years. Even if he knew how to close his eyes, how could he touch the end of the wire and get electrocuted on the spot just because he glanced at Wang Xin one more time? Ding. When the system is activated again, it will cause a short circuit and paralysis of the surrounding circuits. Quote. After hearing the system's answer, Xiao Chen suddenly became angry. Really? Just talk about everything going well, why did the switch suddenly short circuit and leak electricity? It turns out that it was all caused by this system. Forget it, I was just an orphan in my previous life and grew up in an orphanage. It's nothing to worry about, and it's nothing to be reborn. Shaking his head, Xiao Chen suppressed the distracting thoughts in his heart, and a smile suddenly appeared on his face. This moment, as if breaking some kind of knot in his heart, his cultivation level broke through to the second level of heaven and human. The shocking movement immediately startled Xiao Zhan. Chener. Seeing Xiao Chen appearing not far away, Xiao Zhan had a look of astonishment on his face. Obviously, he did not expect to see Xiao Chen in the Haoshan cemetery at this time. Shouldn't the other party be entangled with that bunch of confidant at this moment? Father is thinking about mother again. After hearing Xiao Zhan's words, Xiao Chen slowly gathered his breath, walked over and spoke softly. In the past, he called Xiao Zhan father, which was a bit awkward. But now that he knew the reasons for everything, the last trace of grudge in his heart disappeared. When people get old, they will miss the past and their old friends. Xiao Zhan heard this. After saying something with a sad expression, he couldn't help but take a sip of wine. Even if heaven and man are separated, some people still live in the hearts of others, making them unforgettable throughout their lives. Father, give me some time, maybe I can resurrect my mother. Xiao Zhan looked lonely. Xiao Chen knelt down and stroked the tombstone, remembering every moment when Mu Nianyan played with him before he was 7 years old. He spoke in a low voice. In his last life, he was just an orphan and had no one to rely on. He had never experienced what family love was. But since I can live another life, I have returned to the original starting point. He should cherish all of this. Chenur, you. What did you just say? Can you bring your mother back to life? After Xiao Chen finished speaking, Xiaozan felt like he was struck by lightning. The whole person couldn't help but widen his eyes and stared at Xiao Chen in shock, thinking that he had heard wrongly. Xiao Chen nodded slightly when he heard this, and replied in a low voice. In the inheritance I received, there is a very incredible ability that can resurrect the dead. It's just that I can't use it now. Only when my cultivation reaches a certain level can I be confident that I can resurrect the dead. In fact, as long as you have more than 100 million points, you can resurrect the dead. It has nothing to do with his cultivation. But this ability is too heaven-defying. If it is exposed if the cultivation level is too low, I am afraid it will cause unnecessary trouble. Can resurrect. Chenur can resurrect Nian Yun. Ha ha ha. Nian Yun, did you hear it? Chenur, it would be great if I could resurrect you in the future. This is really great. After hearing what Xiao Chen said, Xiaozan was so excited that he trembled all over. Everyone looked at Xiao Chen helplessly, and then hugged the tombstone like a child. But in the next moment, Xiaozan seemed to have thought of something. His body trembled violently at this moment, and he looked at Xiao Chen with trembling eyes. Chenur, does your ability to resurrect do you need to pay a heavy price? For example, will I lose my cultivation, or my lifespan, or become a cripple? Resurrection. Since ancient times, he had never seen anything like this in any ancient books. After all, this is an act of defiance. Not to mention a strong saint realm, even a strong emperor realm would find it difficult to do this. If Xiao Chen resurrects Mu Nianyan, it will be at the expense of himself, and the price will be unimaginable. He believes Mu Nianyan would definitely not allow it, and would even live with guilt for the rest of her life. Life is worse than death, so why should we be resurrected? And he, as Xiao Chen's father, nor can he ask his son to sacrifice just to resurrect his wife. The palms and backs of his hands were all flesh, so he couldn't be so selfish. There will be some price to pay, but it won't hurt the fundamentals. Father doesn't have to worry about this. Seeing that Xiaozan was not so excited that he actually put himself in his shoes, Xiao Chen was touched. Seriously, it won't hurt the fundamentals. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, Xiaozan still looked in disbelief and said cautiously after taking a deep breath. Although my father also wants your mother to come back to life, your mother has loved you very much since she was a child. If you want to resurrect her, you will pay a heavy price. I believe she will never be happy in this life, and will always live in pain and torture. So, if this ability will hurt the fundamentals, then let your mother live in the hearts of our father and son. I believe your mother has a spirit in heaven, and she must also think so. Children are sensible. Xiao Chen smiled slightly when he heard this, and then sat in front of the tombstone. Have a few drinks with Xiaozan and talk about the past. After practicing pole dancing, classmate Medusa asked me to practice yoga with her, saying that the two of us are more romantic. Just kidding, I am a fitness guy, how can I practice this? Late at night, Xiao Chen left Haoshan Cemetery. However, Xiaozan wanted to stay with Mu Nianyan for a while longer, so he never left at the back mountain cemetery. Brother Xiao Chen, are you okay? Seeing Xiao Chen return to the inner courtyard, Xiao Meyer and others looked worried. Having been aroused by Lu Ruoxian just now, I was all excited. I thought Xiao Chen would find a few of them to vent his anger, but he didn't expect that the other party actually said that he wanted to be alone. This actually frightened them. I thought Xiao Chen couldn't eat Lu Ruoxian, so he couldn't bear the blow and was depressed. Did not expect. Now I see Xiao Chen coming back with a smile. What can happen to me? Seeing Xiao Meyer and others' worried faces, Xiao Chen just smiled and explained. I was just worried a little bit, but now I've figured it all out, so you don't have to worry. Seeing Xiao Meyer, Xiao Linger and others still looked suspicious and worried. Xiao Chen directly hugged one of them with one hand, brought him to his side, and patted him down. Xiao Meyer and Xiao Linger immediately let out a burst of exclamations. Wow, the young master is partial. I also want. After seeing Xiao Chen's move, Katie's eyes suddenly lit up and she immediately approached Xiao Chen. I fiddled with it a few times. Seeing that Xiao Chen looked unhappy, he slapped him and shouted loudly. She wants to join in the fun, this girl is really hopeless. Brother Xiao Chen, how about, let us give you an heir. After Kai Dai let out a cry of satisfaction, Xiao Meyer gritted her teeth and suddenly spoke. Their cultivation levels are relatively weak and they can't help Xiao Chen much. Think about it. They are all holding Xiao Chen back. If they could help Xiao Chen conceive several children, they felt that they would not let down Xiao Chen's love. 56%. Chapter 272. My suggestion is refining the bloodline of Queen Liangbing. Having an heir. After hearing Xiao Meier's words, Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. In the past, because he had some grudge in his heart and felt that this was not his true bloodline. But now, as the last trace of grudge disappeared from his heart, the thought of having an heir emerged in his heart. Ha ha ha, okay, I will let you have children in the future, one for each of you. No, each of you will give birth to a bunch of heirs for me. After being stunned for a moment, Xiao Chen laughed and said, each person has dozens of heirs. But this is not enough. A person must have at least a few more children in order for his lineage to grow stronger. After all, many children bring happiness. With his father at his side, it is no longer a dream for the Xiao family to rule Kanglan. Sir, if you can step into the emperor realm and integrate your bloodline into the power of the law, the heirs born will be stronger, and they may also gain some kind of bloodline talent. You can reach a state that is difficult for ordinary people to reach as soon as you are born, and your subsequent cultivation will be easier than ordinary people. When Xiao Chen finished speaking, Lu Ruoxian suddenly spoke. This made Xiao Chen's eyes freeze slightly. Really? The higher your cultivation level, the higher the quality of your bloodline will be. The children born will have a better starting point than others. Although he has a system that can help his descendants become stronger, it is not very good. Relying too much on your parents for growth will make your children feel like they are useless, and will easily develop character flaws. This is how many long Aotians come from. Forget it, there's no rush to have a baby for now, I'll take my time later. After thinking about it for a while, Xiao Chen changed his mind. However, seeing that Xiao Meier and others were a little disappointed, Xiao Chen also smiled and comforted them at this time. Don't worry about it. Having an early child may not necessarily make you better. Don't you want to give birth to better children? If the children born from Kaiyan and Ruoxian in the future will not only inherit some special emperor-level bloodline, but they will also be able to achieve breakthroughs as easily as drinking water. But those heirs who were born first, because they could not inherit their bloodline, could only rely on the day after tomorrow to forcibly improve themselves. They will be hit. After hearing what Xiao Chen said, Xiao Meier and others' eyes narrowed. Obviously he also agreed with Xiao Chen's statement. It's just that their cultivation level is low. If they want to be promoted to the Emperor realm, how long will it take? Don't be discouraged. I have already helped you improve your talents. You will be able to enter the Emperor realm one day. So now, it's better to accept the baptism of the young master and improve your cultivation level. Finished. While Xiao Meier and others were in ecstasy, Xiao Chen hugged several people and went in. Certainly, Duan Muzuiying and other people from the Wanhua sect had just received the blessings of Yulu not long ago, so they did not join in the fun. Hey, kid, is that Master Xiao's baptism really that magical? On the roof of another courtyard, Liang Bing watched a group of women entering the room surrounded by Xiao Chen, and asked Luo Yulian with some confusion at this moment. Hearing Liang Bing call her a child, Luo Yulian's mouth twitched slightly, and then she spoke in a faint voice. I am not qualified to bear the reign and due of the master, so I don't know how magical this is. If you are curious, you might as well go in and give it a try. This may make your life more radiant. Luo Yulian was not very afraid of this demon queen. After saying that, and showing a meaningful smile to Liang Bing, Luo Yulian also sprinkled a handful of flower petals towards him. It seemed like she was retaliating for calling her a child. Master, Pengbi Shengwei. After hearing Luo Yulian's words, Liang Bing showed a look of astonishment on his face and raised his hand to take one of the petals. Your human race's etiquette seems quite strange. After saying that, Liang Bing lay on the roof and looked at the bright moon in the sky. After forcing me to practice double yoga and torturing me, classmate Medusa took me out to go shopping again. I thought I should find a class for her. It was so tortuous. At the same time, the abyss world. In an ancient and magnificent palace, there is a strong evil spirit everywhere. And within this hall, around a huge conference table, several figures with terrifying auras were sitting. These people. No, these demons are all the monarchs of the abyss demons, and they are all powerful men in the emperor realm. The reason why everyone is summoned to project this time is because the Angel clan and the Holy God clan are storming the entrance for the third time. Although the demon lord left a barrier with the Extreme Tao Emperor weapon, there are no descendants to continue to activate the Extreme Tao Emperor weapon. That barrier will not last 100 years under such a strong attack. After the projections of all the demon monarchs in the abyss world arrived, the hoarse words of a tall demon with a majestic head echoed in the hall. This person, the second monarch of the abyss world, Carlos, has the cultivation level of the 8th level emperor. It can be said that he is the strongest man in the abyss world today. I have called you here this time to discuss the next response measures. If the Angel Clan and the Holy God Clan are allowed to break the barrier, the evil demon race will not have the Great Emperor sitting in charge now, and we will not be strong enough to compete with them. The 9th level of the Emperor, also commonly known as the Great Emperor. This title represents the end of the journey of cultivation in the Kingland world and is also the highest symbol of strength and status. But with the fall of the Lord of the Abyss, now in this abyss world, there is no second Great Emperor. Don't look at the 8th level of the Emperor's realm and the 9th level of the Emperor's realm, there is only a small difference in realm. But at the level of the Emperor realm, late stage, a small difference in realm can produce a difference in combat power that is as big as clouds and mud. After hearing Carlos' words, the hall suddenly fell into dead silence. A heavy atmosphere spread continuously. Don't you have any good suggestions? Looking at the demon monarchs in front of him, Carlos asked hoarsely. My suggestion is to refine the bloodline of Queen Liangbing so that Carlos and I can break through to the 9th level of the Emperor. When all the demon monarchs were silent, one of the handsome-looking men said something shocking. This made the other demon monarchs suddenly raise their heads and look at this man in shock. Louis, do you know? What are you talking about? While feeling shocked and angry, one of the demon monarchs stared at the other person ferociously. This person's name is Tarmuto. He is the 5th demon monarch in the abyss world, and his cultivation has reached the 7th level of the Emperor. He was also the most powerful right-hand man of the Lord of the Abyss during his lifetime. This guy named Louis. In fact, he is not the original demon in the abyss world, but a fallen angel from the Kingland Middle region. More than 5,800 years ago, after being conquered by the Lord of the Abyss, he became the 15th monarch of the abyss world. But this guy's talent is really terrifying. In just over 5,000 years, he was promoted from the 3rd level of the Emperor to the 8th level of the Emperor. With his current strength, apart from Carlos, he can basically be ranked 2nd. Queen Liangbing has been sleeping for more than 3,670 years. With her current level of soul repair, it will take another 1,000 years to revive. If the Angel Clan and the Holy God Clan join forces to attack together. Once the entrance barrier is breached, how can the evil demon race compete with the Angel Clan and the Holy God Clan without the strength of the 9th level of the Emperor? Being stared at by Tarmuto ferociously, Louis didn't seem to care at all and just continued speaking in a faint voice. If Carlos and I can refine the royal demon blood in the king body of the Ice Lady, we can successfully refine the power of cultivation left by the Lord of the Abyss. The two of us will be able to break through to the 9th level of the Emperor and control the Extreme Tao Emperor weapon at the entrance to the Abyss. By then, under the leadership of Carlos and I, the demon race will not be afraid of the other two races. It's even possible for the evil demon race to step out of the abyss world again and once again recreate the supreme glory of our race thousands of years ago. With that said, Louis glanced at all the monarchs and continued to speak in a faint voice. It was the resurgence of Queen Liangbing, the ever-ignorant guardian, who allowed the Angel Clan and the Holy God Clan to break through the entrance to the abyss, and plunge the Demon Clan into the crisis of annihilation. It's better to sacrifice the Ice Queen alone to save the entire demon race. There are demon monarchs who have lived for thousands of years. I don't need to say more about how to weigh the pros and cons, right? 4. 57%. Chapter 273. How did she disappear with such a big egg? After Louis's words fell, the Devil's Hall fell into dead silence. A heavy atmosphere continues to spread. I disagree. After this atmosphere was silent for a while, Tarmuto suddenly raised his head and his words echoed in a low voice. Queen Liangbing is the only remaining descendant of the Demon Lord. How could she become a victim of you two? 3,700 years ago. If the Demon Lord hadn't sacrificed himself to completely seal the entrance to the abyss, I'm afraid the Demon Clan would have been wiped out long ago. Now, the Demon Lord has fallen. Although we are demons, how can we be ungrateful? I would rather fight to the death than sacrifice Queen Liangbing. After Tarmuto finished speaking, the eyes of the other demon monarchs flickered slightly, as if they were weighing the pros and cons of this matter. The demon lord is indeed kind to the entire demon race, but I think he probably doesn't want the demon race to perish. What's more, we are only extracting the royal bloodline from Liangbing Nu's king body, as well as the power of cultivation left by the demon lord. At most, it will only turn her into an ordinary demon, and it will not endanger Queen Liangbing's life. As he spoke, Louis' handsome face curved slightly. Sacrifice the small self to achieve the greater self. If Queen Liangbing knows this sacrifice, it can bring great glory to the entire demon race. I believe she will choose this way. These words. Standing directly on the highest point of interests of the demon clan, Tarmuto's eyes turned a little scarlet. Since there is a difference of opinion, let's vote. As if feeling Tarmuto's anger, Carlos opened his eyes at this moment, and his hoarse voice echoed in the hall. It is about the future survival of the evil demon race. I hope everyone present can make a careful decision. Of course, if you have a better breakthrough candidate, I and Louis can choose to withdraw and let the other party refine the blood of Queen Liangbing. If not, then express your position. But before Carlos could finish his words, a demon statue in the demon palace suddenly lit up its eyes at this moment. A frightened old voice suddenly echoed in the demon palace. My lords, this is not good. Queen of Cold Ice disappeared in the devil's blood pool. Boom. Almost as soon as these words fell, auras also erupted in the hall. Demonic blood pool. That's the heart of the evil demon race. Not only are they guarded by supreme-level experts, they are even guarded by emperor-level formations. Liangbing. The soul was severely injured and has been sleeping, and the demon lord has placed restrictions around it. How could it disappear out of thin air? Feeling horrified and disbelieving in their hearts, many demon monarchs also disappeared into the hall. Over the devil's blood pool. As silhouettes emerged from the void, the terrifying imperial power swept across the world. Really missing. Looking at the devil's blood pool, there was only a pool of blood rolling continuously, and the devil's egg had long since disappeared. And around the demon blood pool, the forbidden barrier is still intact. It's not like someone broke through the restriction and stole this devil egg. This made the pupils of all the demon monarchs present shrink. No, I can't sense it at all. How is this possible? The restriction is intact and there is no sign of being attacked. How did Liangbing disappear? Louis looked at the demon blood pool, and his heart became a little frightened. Certainly, he was not worried about whether something would happen to Liangbing, but that Liangbing suddenly disappeared. How should he refine the opponent's bloodline? Next, how to break through to the 9th level of the Emperor and take charge of the demon race's extreme Dao Emperor weapon. What is going on? How did she disappear with such a big egg? While Tarmuto, Luis and others were horrified, Carlos looked at the demon guards with an angry expression. The restriction to protect Liangbing was placed by the demon lord. Even they, the demon monarchs, could not break through it in a short period of time. But now, they didn't notice any movement, but Liangbing just disappeared. I don't know. 5 hours ago, Queen Liangbing was still floating in the blood pool, so we just closed our eyes and practiced. When I opened my eyes again, I found that she was gone. After hearing Carlos's words, those Supreme Realm demons could not help but tremble. There was nothing unusual just now. When they were bored, they couldn't help but go crazy for a while. Who knew when they were done, they found that the egg was gone. They were also puzzled. Waste. You can't even see an egg. What do the demon clan want from you? After hearing the words of those people, Carlos roared and raised his hand. The void suddenly collapsed. A destructive force immediately hit several people, causing these demons to spurt dark purple blood from their mouths. Search the entire abyss world immediately, no matter what. We must find Liangbing. The blood in her body is related to the life and death of the evil demon race. After blasting away these demons with one blow, Carlos also gave the order. If he couldn't get Liangbing's blood, it would be completely difficult for him to break through to the 9th level of the Emperor. The eyes of the other demon monarchs flickered for a moment before their figures disappeared into the void. If Liangbing was stolen, then as long as the other party can be found, then you can get the devil egg, refine the royal bloodline on it, and the power of cultivation left by the demon lord. By then, even a few of them may reach the 9th level of the Emperor in a short period of time. Liangbing, the rightful owner, has no idea what is happening in the abyss world at this time. Just lying on the roof. The inheritance power in integrated union's body gradually returns to the Emperor's realm. I suddenly met Sister Zuner when I was shopping. Just when I thought it was over, I didn't expect that Medusa and Sister Zuner hit it off immediately and planned to let each other come to live in my house. Noon the next day, after Xiao Chen comforted Xiao Meyer and others, news came from the Dongyuan Huo family that the entrance to the Supreme Secret Realm was gradually becoming stable. It will definitely open again within 3 days, and Xiao Chen has no choice but to say goodbye to everyone in the Xiao family. Chenur, don't be too impulsive, remember to be careful. Brother Xiao Chen, you must come back safely. We are waiting for you at home. Sisters, I would like to ask you to take care of the young master. You guys must come back safely. Under the instructions of Xiao Zan, Xiao Meyer, Marong Qingshe and others. Xiao Chen took Kai Yan Kai Dai, Lu Ruoxian, Liang Bing and the others and teleported directly to Dongyuan Huo's house. As the void erupted with roar, the double-headed demon dragon chariot emerged. Huo Tianshang and his party also came forward. Sir, all the people from the Huo family who are going to the Supreme Secret Realm are in place this time. Among them are 5 elders who have entered the Saint Realm and 12 elders who have entered the 9th level of Heaven and Man. They are all extremely outstanding beings within the same level of the Huo family. Looking at Xiao Chen and his group, Huo Tianshang said respectfully. Xiao Chen glanced over after hearing this. I found a few familiar faces among this group of people. They were Huo Xuanwu and Huo Xuanyi, as well as the 2 elders of the Huo family. Unexpectedly, among the 5 powerful people from the Huo family who have entered the Saint Realm, there are actually 3 powerful people who have entered the 9th level of the Saint Realm. This time, the Huo family has really spent a lot of money and is bound to make a fortune in the secret territory. It actually surprised him. 57%. Chapter 274 The Tacit Understanding of the 4 Major Forces, the Arrival of Xiao Chen and Others. Well, this trip is extremely dangerous, and you might fall. You should all be mentally prepared, right? Xiao Chen glanced at Huo Xuanwu and others, and gave a few serious reminders. Ha ha ha, sir, please don't worry. We old guys, since we chose to go to the secret realm, we have already put life and death aside. Huo Xuanwu and others laughed when they heard this, with a carefree look on their faces. Although Xiao Chen helped them improve their talents, they are basically expected to step into Saint King. But now the Huo family is short of resources. The journey of cultivation is originally about competing with heaven and man. At this time, the secret realm of Supreme is opened. If you don't take a risk, I'm afraid it's very difficult to break through to Saint King. Xiao Chen nodded when he heard this and didn't say much on the matter. After glancing at everyone in the Huo family, he looked at Huo Tianshang with some confusion. Ling Ji. Hasn't she come out of seclusion yet? She may have to stay in seclusion for a while. Huo Tianshang shook his head in embarrassment when he heard this, which made Xiao Chen feel a little disappointed. But, with Huo Lingji's current level of cultivation, entering the secret realm wouldn't help. It seems that we can only wait until he returns from the secret realm to find out whether Huo Lingji's charming fire is stronger or his pure demon fire is more powerful. Let's go. After suppressing the distracting thoughts in his heart, Xiao Chen opened his mouth and gave the order. Huo Tianshang nodded after hearing this. Immediately summoning the Huo family's unique phoenix boat, the group of people sped towards the 10,000 demons Hanyuan. The inner circumference of 10,000 demons Hanyuan. This place is surrounded by evil winds all year round. If your cultivation level fails to reach the universal truth realm, I'm afraid it's hard to move even in a place like this. However, since the 10,000 demons Hanyuan is inhabited by various cruel Yinsha monsters in addition to the Yinsha Gangfang, most of them are stronger than the universal truth realm. Even a strong person in the celestial human realm, once he goes too deep into the abyss of 10,000 demons. If you are not careful, you will end up with no bones left. This peaceful and desolate scene was completely broken by the roar of a mysterious boat. Countless evil monsters kept roaring at Zon Arc, and even came in groups to attack Zon Arc. But the next moment, as a cold snort sounded, destructive power swept across and erupted. Countless evil monsters were turned into ashes before they even got close to the mysterious arc. The area within a radius of 10,000 feet was cleared instantly. This time, will our Ming family arrive first again? After bursting out with the power of Supreme, a large area was cleared instantly. One of the old men in Xuanyi from the Ming family murmured in a hoarse voice. This person, named Tomorrow City, he is the 8th elder of the Ming family in the profound heaven realm, and has the cultivation level of the supreme second realm. He is also the leader of the Ming family this time. And behind him, there were nearly 50 strong men sitting cross-legged, and each one of them was actually a Saint Realm strong man. 2 of them were very elegant and seemed to stand out from the crowd. This is exactly the second Saint Child Ming Xuanyi and the third Saint Child Ming Juge of the Ming family. Both of them are the evil geniuses of the Ming family who possess the status of supreme. At the age of only 38, they have reached the third level of sainthood. Within the territory of Eastern Domain Profound Heaven, it is also the pride of Transcendent. At this time, not only did the 2 of them look cold, but they also exuded a sinister aura. Obviously, he felt a little confused and unable to let go of Ming Wudao's order. They are the saint children of the Ming family. Although he is not as good as the first saint child, he is still a rare talent in the Eastern Domain. He actually asked them to enter a secret realm and harm themselves. Even if the foundation of cultivation can be reshaped in the future, some meridians will be left with hidden injuries. Even if they can get the initiation and inheritance from the powerful people in their ancestral land, for them, it is just a loss of their own potential, which makes them feel like they have been given up by Ming Wudao. Behind this group of people, there were several humble figures. It was Ming Yi, the head of the Tianyuan Ming family, and several elders of the Ming family who had joined the Saint Realm. They originally wanted to send some powerful people from the 9th level of heaven and earth to follow Ming Xuanyi and his party into the supreme secret realm. Didn't expect it this time. The 2 saint children who came to the Ming dynasty had a hotter temper than the other. Not only did they severely trample on the dignity of the Tianyuan Ming family, but they also forced senior officials like them to go with them. Ming Yi and others almost wanted to vomit blood at the thought of entering the secret realm and injuring themselves for cultivation. They thought that the arrival of the people who contacted the master's family this time would give them a chance to return to the master's family, but they didn't expect that they would shoot themselves in the foot. If nothing is gained in the secret territory next, I am afraid that the Dongwang Tianyuan Ming family will also be in disaster. When I brought my classmate Medusa and sister Zuner to my private dining room, classmate Nolan was resentful when she saw this. She even seduced me while serving the food, as if she wanted to get in the position. Zanyi, Zhu, I know that you are a little dissatisfied with the family leader's decision, but this trip to the secret realm, can you recover the inheritance of ancestor Zan Ming? But it is related to our Ming family. The key is whether a powerful person in the supreme 9th level can be born next. If either of you 2 can find the ancestor's inheritance, you will definitely surpass Ming Yifei in the future, become the first saint child of the Ming family, and practice to the supreme late stage. With that said, Tomorrow City glanced at the 2 of them and said in a serious tone. The head of the family is a little harsh on you, but this is also your chance to become the number 1 saint child. After hearing the words of Tomorrow City, Ming Xuanyi and Ming Juge opened their eyes, and they couldn't help but sneer on their faces. First saint child, sure enough, only when they reach that level will they be taken seriously. If not, the second saint child and the third saint child are just substitutes. At the same time, an astonishing roar came from the void again, a Saint King level profound arc that was like a heavenly sword. At this moment, they arrived outside the entrance of Supreme Secret Realm, causing everyone in the Deming family to raise their heads with solemn expressions. Profound Heaven Realm, Heavenly Sword Sect. Seeing this Saint King class profound arc, Tomorrow City's eyes narrowed slightly. This is another supreme level force in the southern part of Profound Heaven. Compared to them, the Ming family is not weak at all. That's the 7th Sword Master of the Heavenly Sword Sect, Li Min. Looking at the old man at the head of the Xuanzhou, Tomorrow City's eyes became a little solemn. This is also a powerful person in the Supreme Realm, and even stronger than him. My cultivation level should be about to break through to the 3rd level of Supreme. And those 2 people seem to be the 2nd Saint Child and the 3rd Saint Child of the Heavenly Sword Sect. It seems that you 2 have a rival for this trip to the Secret Realm. After glancing at the troops of Heavenly Sword Sect, Tomorrow Chunghua spoke in a low voice. Unexpectedly, Heavenly Sword Sect also sent out the 2nd Saint Child this time. Could it be that they have the same idea as the Ming family, planning to learn from the experience of the last time and find the inheritance of their ancestors this time? At the same time as this thought fell, 2 more mysterious arcs came through the sky. On one of the mysterious arcs, as far as you could see, they were all women of the same color, and each of them exuded a cold aura. It is the Taiyan sect, another supreme level force in the southern part of the Profound Heaven realm. All members of the sect are women, and they are famously ruthless in Profound Heaven. Because if you want to enter the Taiyan gate, you have to cut off your own relationships. Once you have a private union with a man, your cultivation will be abolished and you will be expelled from the sect. Almost no one in the sect's upper echelons is normal. And on another mysterious arc, every strong man has stars shining on his body, like stars in the vast sky and earth, exuding an ethereal aura. This is another supreme level force in the southern part of Eastern Domain Profound Heaven, Xingshan Pavilion. A sect that can pull the power of the stars and even perform horoscopes. Among the four major forces, although their comprehensive strength is not the strongest, their methods are the most mysterious. The person from Taiyan Gate is the 7th Venerable Qingju Master, and the person from Xingshan Pavilion is the 8th Elder Han Xing Venerable. The cultivation of these two people is on par with me, and there is really a tacit understanding between the several major forces. Looking at the leaders of Taiyan Gate and Xingshan Pavilion, Tomorrow City was a little surprised at this time. It was as if the masters of the four major forces had discussed this before. The lineups sent turned out to be almost the same. Is everyone here? When the thoughts of Tomorrow City are turning. Master Qingju of Taiyan sect glanced at everyone and spoke in a cold voice. But just as her words echoed, a dragon roar and phoenix roar suddenly exploded. A chariot pulled by a two-headed demon dragon, and a profound arc burning with red flames also tore through the sky with strong winds at this time. This made Master Qingju, Tomorrow City and others lock their eyes at this moment. 57%. Chapter 275 How could you not die and break through to the Supreme Realm? There are still forces coming. After seeing this double-headed magic dragon chariot and this phoenix mysterious arc, Master Qingju, Tomorrow City and others all frowned slightly at this moment. Obviously I didn't expect that besides their four major forces, there would be other people here. It seems we are not too late. The entrance to the secret realm has not yet been opened. When the two-headed demon dragon paused in the void, Xiao Chen glanced at the entrance vortex and smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth. It seems that the time estimated by Huo Tianshang and others' information is quite accurate. They were on their way as a group. But it took him almost 3 days to break through to the third level of heaven and human. I thought that the people from the four major forces might have gone in first. Did not expect. These people are still outside the entrance to the secret realm, and they look like they have just arrived. Who are you? Who allowed you to break in here without permission? After being stunned for a moment, Master Qingju's face turned cold and he asked in a cold voice. The secret realm of heaven and earth comes out of the world, and those who are capable can enter it. This does not seem to be anyone's private dojo. Do I still need your permission to come here? After hearing Master Qingju's words, Xiao Chen frowned slightly and spoke in an unusually indifferent voice. My impression of this old woman dropped to freezing point at this moment. Haha, the supreme secret realm was born in this abyss because of the sacrifices of our ancestors of the four major forces. How can we allow you outsiders to get involved? Master Qingju sneered when she heard this, with a hint of killing intent in her voice. Supreme Secret Realm. Although he was born in the 10,000 demons Hanyuan of the Eastern Wasteland, he devoured the ancestors of the four major forces. In the eyes of their major forces, this secret realm was created for the four major forces. People from other forces are not qualified to get involved. Your Majesty, I know them. They are members of the Dongyuan Huo family. Like our branch of the Ming family, they are one of the three major families in the East Wasteland. Just as Master Qingju finished speaking, Ming Yi looked at Tomorrow City Road with excitement after seeing Huo Tianshang and others. The last time the Supreme Secret Realm was opened, the Hengshan Mo family and Dongyuan Huo family also came, but they only dared to watch from 10 miles away. Didn't expect it this time. The Dongyuan Huo family and the others dared to come in front of them. This is simply asking for death. It turns out that it is the indigenous forces of the Eastern Wasteland who dare to act so boldly. Leave your chariot and treasures, and everyone in your group can get out. After hearing Ming Yi's words, Tomorrow City glanced at Xiao Chen and others, and said in an unusually indifferent tone at this moment. Just like these words, it is the greatest forgiveness for Xiao Chen and others who broke into this place. After all, in the barbarian land of Eastern Wasteland, the strong Saint King can cover the sky with one hand. Not to mention, they are supreme. With a raise of his hand, he was enough to obliterate the powerful Saint King. In the eyes of the natives of the Eastern Wilderness, he was like a god. I felt a little embarrassed at first, but if you do this, I will not be polite. After hearing such rude words from Master Qingju and Tomorrow City, a stern smile appeared on Xiao Chen's face. Then he lightly snapped his fingers. The void in front of the double-headed demon dragon chariot was distorted and broken at this moment, and Luo Yulian's figure also emerged. I didn't expect that after more than 2,000 years, you, an extinct old woman, would break through to the supreme realm. Looking at Master Qingju at the Taiyan gate, Luo Yulian stood sideways in the void, raised her hand and scattered a handful of flower petals. Her voice said in a faint tone. This Master Qingju. More than 2,000 years ago, she had just entered Saint Realm and was the master of her fellow senior sister. But behind, because she was plotted against by her senior sister, she was lucky enough to kill him. It was this Master Qingju who personally chased her for tens of thousands of miles and finally forced her into Hengshan Mountain. Later, because she entered the Heritage Cave Mansion and lost her trace, the old woman temporarily gave up the pursuit of her. Later, she obtained the inheritance of Hengshan Corp's refining lineage. I just wanted to seek revenge on this old woman, but I didn't expect that the other woman's cultivation level had improved by leaps and bounds, and she had actually entered the Saint King realm. She could only temporarily suppress the thought of revenge, and began to rise as a general of the Corp's ancestor. Later, because she offended other forces, she was brutally hunted by the Nine Nether Demon sect, and eventually had to hide in the Eastern Wasteland. Unexpectedly, nearly 2,000 years later, she would see this old friend again. Are you Luo Yulian? Hearing Luo Yulian call out to the old lady Ju, and looking at that familiar face, a long-lost memory suddenly came to mind. This made Master Qingju's pupils shrink sharply, and a look of horror appeared on his face. Impossible. How could you not die and break through to the supreme realm? In her mind, Luo Yulian's talent is only to enter the saint level. Even if there are some opportunities in this life, it will be a blessing to be able to break through to the Saint King level. But she never expected it. This lowly slave girl who was hunted down by her more than 2,000 years ago unexpectedly had the same cultivation level as her. You must know that she has the talent of Saint King, but she paid a heavy price in order to be able to break through to the supreme realm. I found an excuse to ask Medusa and Sister Zuner to go back first. I gave the employee a hard lesson in private, but Nolan was not afraid and asked me to come more often next time. He's actually an enemy. After hearing the conversation between Luo Yulian and Master Qingju, Xiao Chen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Obviously he didn't expect this to happen. Liang Bing, if I give you a few more days, how far will your cultivation level be able to recover? Feeling that there was going to be a big war, Xiao Chen asked the demon queen beside him. It should be the 5th level of supreme. Liang Bing feels the power of the seal in his body and the progress of the integrated union of his own bloodline and cultivation. He said with a somewhat careless voice. But even if I only have the cultivation level of the supreme 3rd level, it would still be easy to kill these little bitches. How to say, she is also the daughter of the Lord of the Abyss, and was once a powerful emperor. Now her cultivation level is a little higher than these people. Even if she has to fight 4 of them one by one, she is totally worthy. What's more, there is Luo Yulian, who is also a powerful person in the supreme realm. Sir, it's not the right time to fight. But just after Liang Bing finished speaking, Lu Ruoxian spoke softly. Xiao Chen's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard this, and he understood what Lu Ruoxian meant. Now the entrance to the supreme secret realm is about to open. Not to mention whether the fight between several supreme realm experts would cause the entrance to collapse. Even if the entrance to the secret realm does not collapse, they can still kill people from the 4 major forces, but then they will not be able to explore the secret realm with peace of mind. Because once these people fall, the master's side will definitely receive the message, and after realizing the seriousness of the situation, they will probably send out supreme realm experts. By then, after killing these weaklings, a bunch of stronger ones came. In addition, if the supreme secret realm is opened, their group will have no way to deal with it. Even if Xiao Chen had the Emperor Realm Cultivation Experience card in his hand, he would use it just to kill a bunch of Supreme Realm experts. This is simply a waste of resources. Lu Ruoxian's cultivation has only returned to the 9th level of Saint King, and he should be able to enter the Supreme level in a few days. When, on their side are the 3 Supreme Powerhouses. After taking action, they have a greater chance of keeping everyone. Therefore, the most appropriate time to take action is after exploring the secret realm. Everyone, the supreme secret realm is the private secret realm of our 4 major forces, but these people want to come and share the pie. Why don't we join forces and kill them? In this way, after the secret realm is opened, there will be no worries about future troubles. Just when Xiao Chen's thoughts fell, Master Qingju glanced at Luo Yulian with murderous intent, and spoke to the other supreme powerhouses in a solemn voice. Bookmark. List. Forum. Settings. Lock. Edit _ note. Play _ circle. 57%. Chapter 276. I thought this guy was a smart guy, but I didn't expect him to be a guy who doesn't know how to live or die. Arrow _ back _ ios _ Nawaro _ forward _ ios. After hearing these two words from Master Qingju, Tomorrow City and the other two supremes locked their eyes on Xiao Chen and others. A murderous intent spread among several people. Although the four major forces are opposed to each other, they are all monks from the eastern domain. While Xiao Chen et al. They are just locals from the eastern wasteland who want to enter the secret realm and cut a piece of flesh off their bodies. This is undoubtedly a provocation to them. What? Do you want to bully the minority? Locked in the air of several supreme realm powerhouses, Luo Yulian showed a touch of disdain on his face and looked at Master Qingju mockingly. Old exterminator, you were so vigorous in chasing me, why don't you just charge forward now? Are you scared? You. After hearing these two words from Luo Yulian, Master Qingju looked extremely gloomy. The murderous intention in his body became more and more intense, but at this time, he did not take the lead. Not to mention, now Luo Yulian, like her, has reached the supreme second level. If fighting alone, it is still unknown whether it can seriously injure the opponent. And at this time, there are several other powerful supremes around. Although they are from the eastern domain like her, they are all competitors from other forces. Just in case, she was severely injured in a fight with Luo Yulian, but she couldn't guarantee that Tomorrow City and others wouldn't do anything wrong to her. That's why she didn't take the initiative to attack Luo Yulian, but opened her mouth to pull Mingcheng and others into trouble. It seems we can't fight yet. Seeing this scene in front of him, Xiao Chen raised the corner of his mouth slightly. These guys are not the same as each other, unless they are forced to do so. It is basically unrealistic for them to join forces to kill a supreme. Boom. Just as Master Qingju and the others' eyes flashed, and they were weighing whether to take action, there was a roar. The ever-expanding vortex on the abyss also erupted into strong spatial fluctuations at this moment. The entrance to the secret realm is about to open. Seeing the strange appearance of the vortex at the entrance to the secret realm, Tomorrow City and others' eyes suddenly froze. Since you guys don't have the guts to take action, then, we want to enter this secret realm, so you don't have to make any noise anymore. Seeing that the entrance to the secret realm was about to open, Xiao Chen spoke calmly. The end of these words. This made Tomorrow City, Master Qingju and others look at Xiao Chen with extremely cold eyes. Boy, don't think that with the support of a supreme powerhouse, you and your group are qualified to enter the secret realm. I'm not in the mood to talk nonsense with you. Before Tomorrow City finished speaking, Xiao Chen interrupted with a look of disdain. If you want to fight now, just do it. If you don't have the guts to take action, just shut up and stop talking. This young master is not one to scare anyone. After hearing Xiao Chen's words, the veins on Tomorrow City's forehead popped out, and the killing intent on his body became more intense. A flash of ecstasy flashed across Master Qingju's face when she saw this. Haha, it's been a long time since any young man dared to talk to me like this. Just when Master Qingju thought that Tomorrow City would not be able to resist taking action, who knew that Tomorrow City just smiled indifferently, and then restrained the majestic murderous intent on his body. He said to Master Qingju and the others, "Get ready to enter the secret realm. Since they want to go in and join in the fun, let the juniors greet them properly." Hear the last words from Tomorrow City. The eyes of Master Qingju and others flickered slightly, and then they glanced at Xiao Chen and others indifferently. At this moment, they all understood what Tomorrow City meant. Since we can't fight outside the secret realm now, let's recover some interest in the secret realm first. When I returned to my 800 square meter villa, I saw that Sister Zuner had changed into a maid outfit and was giving Miao Shiquan a lot of soup. This moved me so much that I had to go visit me in the evening. Also at this time, the entrance vortex of the Supreme Secret Realm was completely stable at this moment. A desolate and wild atmosphere continued to escape from the whirlpool. It's like there is a primitive world hidden on the other side of the whirlpool. Go in. Feeling that the entrance to the secret realm had been completely secured, Tomorrow City spoke to Ming Xuanyi and others. The inheritance of ancestor Zan Ming must be recovered. No matter who got it, as long as they are not from the Ming family, they will all be killed. This sentence falls in Tomorrow City. The two saint children, Ming Xuanyi and Ming Juge, as well as a large group of strong men who entered the saint realm, were all committing suicide at this moment. The true energy continued to escape like being discouraged, making these people's faces become a little pale, and their cultivation levels fell to the 9th level of heaven and human at this moment. Only the supreme level powerhouse from Tomorrow City and several Saint King level powerhouses did not move. It's not just the Ming family. When Ming Xuanyi and others were destructing themselves to cultivate, whether it was Heavenly Sword Sect, Taiyan Sect, or Xingqian Pavilion. On this trip, I want to enter the Saint Child in the secret realm or the strong person who enters the Saint realm. At this moment, they all began to mutilate their own cultivation, causing their own realm to fall to the 9th level of heaven and man. Immediately afterwards, the Saint Child and the Saint Realm expert from the 4 major forces took a deep look at Xiao Chen, Huo Tianshang and others, and then rushed into the vortex without hesitation. If you go in this trip, you will be attacked from both sides. If forced to disperse, be sure to stick together as soon as possible. Feeling the cold gazes of several major forces, Xiao Chen spoke solemnly to Kaiyan and the others. Immediately afterwards, just in case, he condensed more than a dozen tracking soul marks in one breath and patted them on the bodies of Kaiyan, Duanmu Zuying and others. Thus, even if the entrance to the secret realm has mandatory dispersion rules and the communication jade pendant can be blocked, he can still find these people in the fastest time. This moved Kaiyan and others. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen was so attentive and even thought of this detail. Young master, you must also be careful. Xiao Chen's cultivation level is at the 3rd level of heaven and human, and he is the one with the lowest level of cultivation among all the people who entered the secret realm this time. This made Kaiyan, Duanmu Zuying and others a little worried. Do not worry. Don't look at it. I'm only in the 3rd level of heaven and human. I haven't made any moves until now. But actually the young master is very strong, so you guys don't have to worry too much. Seeing the worried faces of Kaiyan, Duanmu Zuying and others, Xiao Chen smiled lightly and waved his hand. Immediately afterwards, Xiao Chen gave Lu Ruoxian a supreme low-grade resurrection purple pill, which could make it easier for the other party to return to the supreme state within a few days. He also threw a necromantic demon yuan fruit to the 5 elements necromancer corpse puppet and the 2-headed demonic dragon puppet, allowing the strength of these 2 monsters to be greatly improved in the past few days. After doing all this, seeing that the balance of points was less than 1.5 million, Xiao Chen couldn't help but feel anxious. The points balance is insufficient, so you have to harvest them quickly. Kai Yan, Kai Dai, Duanmu Zuying and others, without any hesitation at this moment, all committed suicide and fell into the realm of cultivation. After that, the group of people rushed into the secret realm. This young master also wants to enter the secret realm. Seeing Xiao Chen rushing into the secret realm with a group of beauties, a look of surprise appeared on the faces of Tomorrow City and others. Because in their perception, Xiao Chen is only in the 3rd level of heaven and human. This kind of cultivation, even if you are talented enough to be a monster, wouldn't you be asking for your own death when facing a strong person in the 9th level of heaven and man? The strength gap between several small realms is not so easy to make up for. I thought this guy was a smart guy, but I didn't expect him to be a reckless guy. After a sneer, a cruel smile appeared on the faces of Tomorrow City and Master Qingju. It was obviously expected. What happened next for Xiao Chen and his group in the secret realm was tragic. 57%. Chapter 277. There seems to be some kind of secret hidden in this small demon core. As everyone entered the secret realm of Supreme, there were still Master Qingju and others in Tomorrow City, who glanced at Luo Yulian coldly. Then he crossed his legs and adjusted his breathing on the Xuanzhou. Now it is just because they want to find the inheritance of their ancestors that they, the supreme powerhouses, do not take action. But once the exploration of the secret realm is over, fighting will also break out outside the secret realm. Now, just the calm before the storm. These old guys are quite tolerant. They are indeed people who can cultivate to the supreme level. Luo Yulian glanced at Master Qingju and the others, then returned to the double-headed magic dragon chariot. Looking at Lu Ruoxian and Liang Bing, he continued with a solemn expression. I feel these guys will shake people next. Although they may not be the strongest, they may be above the 4th level of Supreme. So from now on, it still depends on you too. After hearing Luo Yulian's words, Lu Ruoxian and Liang Bing nodded and walked into the pavilion to resume their cultivation. Luo Yulian, on the other hand, was sitting cross-legged outside to protect the 2 of them, to prevent these guys from suddenly coming to carry out sneak attacks and plots. Comma, 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 comma. This is a somewhat dark world. Although the celestial sun can be vaguely seen, it may be due to the folding of space that the celestial sun appears a bit blurry. Looking around, it seems to be a primitive mountain forest, and the whole world is still filled with light mist. On the contrary, it makes this world seem both original and permeable. As expected, we were forced to separate. Seeing that the surrounding mountains and forests were vast and ancient, and all the familiar figures were missing, Xiao Chen had a look of helplessness on his face. Even though he, Qian and others were holding hands when entering the secret realm. But under the explosion of the power of the secret realm rules, the group was forced to separate. This secret realm law is really overbearing. We have to find Qian, Duan Muzuying and others quickly. As he murmured the words, Xiao Chen felt a sense of urgency in his heart. But before he could finish his words, a sense of crisis suddenly exploded in his heart. Xiao Chen almost didn't think anything before he dodged away to the side. And almost when his body turned into an afterimage, a beast shadow also passed through him. In an instant, Xiao Chen's afterimage was torn to pieces on the spot, and a deep hole was created on the ground. Only then did Xiao Chen see clearly. What attacked him was a strange beast that resembled a wolf and a tiger, about a foot tall, and exuded a terrifying aura. The strength of the 6th level of heaven and man. Seeing this strange ferocious beast in front of him, Xiao Chen showed a hint of ferocity on his face. The next moment, his cultivation exploded, and his figure turned into an afterimage. When the 5 elements of light flashed, a real dragon's shadow appeared behind him, and Xiao Chen punched it without hesitation. Dawang True Dragon Fist, a divine ability that he upgraded to the Saint King level. Even if he only has the cultivation level of the 3rd level of heaven and human at this time, the power it displays at this time is very terrifying. Seeing Xiao Chen dare to punch him, the wolf tiger beast was also enraged. The demonic energy erupted in the roar, and he slapped Xiao Chen fiercely with his palm. Immediately afterwards, as the deafening roar sounded, Xiao Chen's seemingly small fist. He actually exploded the huge claws of the wolf and tiger beast with one punch, and even hit the opponent's head with unabated force. When the blood mist exploded, the head of that wolf tiger beast exploded on the spot, and it didn't even have time to scream. He was instantly killed by Xiao Chen with one punch. How come a ferocious beast in the 6th level of heaven and human realm feels a little weak? Seeing this ferocious beast that he killed instantly, Xiao Chen had a look of surprise on his face. He thought that it would take some effort for him to deal with the ferocious beasts in the 6th level of heaven and human realm. Unexpectedly, with one move of Dawang True Dragon Fist, this guy received his lunchbox on the spot. It seems that my real combat power is a little stronger than expected. After muttering something, Xiao Chen looked at the beaten wolf and tiger beast, and found a crystal demon core floating out from the opponent's head. This demon core actually contains such majestic energy, it seems that it can be directly absorbed and refined by people. Feeling the energy fluctuations in this demon core, Xiao Chen had a look of shock on his face. To know whether it is a ferocious beast or a demon beast, there is basically a demon core in the body. The energy contained in the demon core is usually extremely violent and contains impurities. Unless it is refined into elixirs with the help of the spirit medicine of heaven and earth, there is no way to absorb this energy. But the energy contained in the demon core in front of me is extremely gentle, and it seems that it can be directly absorbed and refined by people. This actually made Xiao Chen feel a little surprised. Is this caused by the laws of the secret realm? When he was curious and surprised, Xiao Chen immediately used the identification function. A demon core containing gentle energy, but there is a trace of evil hidden deep in the core. If it is absorbed and refined, the evil nature cannot be purified, and it will become a bloodthirsty and cruel beast, and may even become a slave of the heavenly demon. As 2 pieces of basic information appeared before his eyes, Xiao Chen's pupils shrank slightly at this moment. Evil nature, heavenly demon, servant, there seems to be some kind of secret hidden in this small demon core. When she saw me walking into the kitchen, Sister Zuner said shyly, "This big tonic soup is a bit hot. Why don't I go to the hot spring with her after I finish drinking it? It's too exciting." And just when Xiao Chen felt surprised in his heart, suddenly there was a sharp sound breaking through the air behind him, making Xiao Chen's expression become extremely cold. At the moment when his cultivation level exploded, Xiao Chen turned around and punched out. The 2 wind blades that struck violently were also blasted away by him on the spot. I never expected that you could kill a ferocious beast at the 6th level of heaven and man in a short period of time with your cultivation at the 3rd level of heaven and man, and you could even take a casual blow from this saint child. You are indeed a bit extraordinary. No wonder you have the courage to step into the secret realm. As the smoke and dust were swept away by the hurricane, not far in front of Xiao Chen, there was a young man floating. And this person, it is Ming Juge, the 3rd saint child of the Ming family. He is a monster who has cultivated to the 3rd level of sainthood at the age of only 38. After entering the secret realm and being teleported to this area, he casually killed 2 celestial human realm beasts. He sensed movement here, so he lurked over secretly. He thought it was a strong man from some force who happened to be near him by chance, but he didn't expect it to be this young master. They really are enemies on a narrow road. Saint child of the Ming family. When he saw Ming Juge, Xiao Chen's eyes narrowed slightly, and there was a hint of surprise on his face. He didn't expect. Not long after I teleported in, I met a saint child. But there was no panic on Xiao Chen's face, and his expression remained calm at this time. In fact, among all the people who came in, Saint Child's name sounded scary, but his combat power was not the most powerful. After all, Saint Child, who has only been practicing for decades, how can he compare to some old monsters who have entered the 9th level of sainthood and have been practicing for hundreds of thousands of years at the same level? So, compared to these so-called Saint Child saints, what Xiao Chen is even more unwilling to encounter at this time is those strong men who have reached the 9th level of sainthood by injuring themselves. Remember, the murderer. Ming family saint child, Ming Juge. When Xiao Chen's thoughts fell, Ming Juge glanced at Xiao Chen indifferently, then spread his hands slightly, and a green light enveloped the world. Suddenly a hurricane blew up between heaven and earth. Pieces of wind leaves were like flying birds, hovering around Ming Juge, and the terrifying artistic conception of wind also swept across the world. Next moment, as a flash of green light flashed in Ming Juge's eyes, the wind leaves condensed with a destructive aura, and they rained down on Xiao Chen overwhelmingly. Extreme wind, Chenny kills. Although this move is not his strongest divine ability, it is the move he controls most skillfully. Use it to kill Xiao Chen, and the other party will be proud of himself. 58%. Chapter 278. What kind of illusion makes you think this is evenly matched? Shabi. After seeing Ming Juge registering his number, he used the divine ability killer move on him, looking like he was the coolest guy. Xiao Chen's eyes became extremely cold, and his cultivation reached its peak at this moment. The phantoms of the 5 elements holy beasts also appeared in the void behind Xiao Chen, azure dragon on the left, white tiger on the right, vermilion bird on the south, black tortoise on the north, and Qilin on the middle. The terrifying power of the holy beast swept across the world, and Xiao Chen punched out with the 5 elements killing technique. The 5 great saint beasts' phantoms roared, and instantly turned into a colorful fist shadow, and then blasted towards the wind leaves. In an instant, in the deafening roar, every wind blade exploded. The huge fist shadow transformed from the phantom of the 5 elements saint beast still blasted towards Ming Juge with great force, and the void where it passed was slightly distorted. How can this be? Seeing Xiao Chen suddenly burst out with such divine ability, Ming Juge showed a look of horror on his face. He is a saint child. At the same level, it is very powerful. Moreover, he is now a strong person in the 9th level of heaven and human realm, and he fell from the self-inflicted cultivation of the 3rd level of sainthood. The real combat power that can be exerted is more powerful than before. Compared with the young master in front of me, he is 6 small realms stronger. The divine ability killer move that he just performed was enough to seriously injure some powerful people in the 9th level of heaven and man, but was it blown away so easily by Xiao Chen? But at this time, Ming Juge didn't have time to think deeply. Seeing the fist shadow of the 5 elements saint beast approaching at an extremely fast speed, he completely exploded in cultivation while roaring. Endless blue light shone from his body, turning his black hair into blue. A shadowy figure that showed no anger or dignity immediately appeared behind him. The terrifying Gangfang swept away like a tornado. Wind God's fury. Amidst the roar, Ming Juge pointed a finger at the fist shadow of the 5 elements saint beast, under the control of the phantom of the wind god behind him. The endless Gangfang continued to gather, and in an instant it condensed into a giant finger. It swooped down like a blue wind giant dragon and struck hard on the phantom of the 5 elements holy beast. In Ming Juge's blow, the fist shadow of the 5 elements holy beast was exploded on the spot, turning into a terrifying storm that swept away. Boy, this saint child doesn't believe that you can do this kind of divine ability attack again. After blasting Xiao Chen's divine ability with one move, Mingjuj roared like a wind god. But before he finished speaking, he saw Xiao Chen floating in the air, surrounded by colorful lights. The whole person was like the god of chaos in the opening heaven, exuding an unrivaled aura. As Xiao Chen formed a seal with one hand, he pressed down fiercely on the void. Above his head, more than once, a seal as big as a mountain has been condensed. After sealing off all the surrounding space in an instant, he suppressed the saint child. How can this be? Seeing Xiao Chen display another terrifying divine ability, Mingjuj began to doubt his life at this moment. Such a powerful divine ability move, even he, the saint child, cannot easily perform. But this guy in front of me is very coherent, considering that the other party only has the cultivation level of the third level of heaven and human. Regardless of the tenacity of the meridians or the richness of the true energy, there should not be such an explosion. In disbelief, Mingjuj could only control the phantom of function, which collided with the five elements heaven-shaking seal. As the roar reverberated, the terrifying storm swept across again. The mountains and forests within 1,000 feet radius have been razed to the ground, and this power is infinitely close to entering Saint Realm. Next moment, the two divine abilities annihilated each other in the collision. The devastating impact caused Mingju's body to roll backwards, and the energy and blood in his body was also rolling at this moment. Boy, this saint child wants you to die. As a respectable saint child prodigy, he was suppressed by someone of 6 lower realms. This made Mingjuj feel a great shame and humiliation. Amidst the roaring echoes, Mingjuj sacrificed a Saint King weapon, a long sword engraved with mysterious runes, and the terrifying holy power swept away. But that's about it. With the advent of the Supreme Secret Realm Law, the power of this Saint King soldier was suppressed to the celestial human realm level. But even so, at this time, this Saint King weapon is more powerful than the heavenly rank Supreme Grade Zon weapon. In the roar, Mingjuj was surrounded by a green wind dragon, and he slashed at Xiao Chen with a swipe of the holy sword. That kind of terrifying power. It's enough to make any strong celestial human realm person's complexion change drastically. Saint King soldiers, I also have it. Seeing Mingjuj slashing violently with his sword, Xiao Chen just sneered indifferently, then raised his hand and grabbed the void. The 5 elements Shira spear appeared in his hand. While the laws of heaven and earth in the secret realm were suppressing it, Xiao Chen wielded the spear like a Shira. A 5-element spear light was like a thunderous giant breaking through the sky, and it swept towards Mingjuj in an instant. Boom! The moment the guns and swords collided, a roar shook the world. Mingjuj and Xiao Chen, like comets colliding with each other, the devastating impact was like a storm, constantly sweeping away from the two of them. Boy, I never thought that you could fight evenly with this saint child with your cultivation in the third level of heaven and human. Who are you? When he suppressed the 5 elements Shira spear with a sword and tried to forcefully slash at Xiao Chen. Mingjuj had bulging veins on his forehead and said in a hoarse voice. Even in the Eastern domain, prodigies with such demonic fighting prowess are very rare, and can even chase after some emperors. How could there be such a monster in a barren land like the Eastern Wasteland? Evenly matched. Xiao Chen just sneered when he heard this, with a hint of ridicule on his face. What kind of illusion makes you think this is evenly matched? Said. Before Mingjuj could say anything angrily, Xiao Chen's eyes flashed with a flash of forlorn white, and the corners of his mouth turned into a cruel arc. You shouldn't get close to me. When these words came out, the pure world demonic fire burst out from Xiao Chen's body like a tsunami. An indescribable sense of life and death crisis suddenly exploded in Mingjuj's heart. What's this? When he realized something was wrong, Mingjuj quickly wanted to retreat. But at this time, there was only one body difference between him and Xiao Chen. Such a close distance. When he just made a move, the pure world demonic fire also blasted at Mingjuj, continuously penetrating the true essence into the opponent's body. This made Mingjuj let out a shrill scream. No, what kind of flame is this? Feeling that his true essence was being burned and eroded instantly, and a terrifying burning sensation came from his limbs and bones, Mingjuj had a look of horror on his face. This is the Emperor-level strange fire, the world-purifying demonic fire. When Mingjuj's true energy became chaotic, Xiao Chen blasted away the opponent's holy sword with one shot. While the words were still echoing, the gun came out like a dragon and went straight to the heart. When Mingjuj had nowhere to hide, he penetrated directly through the opponent's heart. Mingjuj's pupils suddenly dilated and he looked at Xiao Chen in disbelief. Obviously he didn't expect that he would not only lose, but also die at the hands of Xiao Chen. He is the saint child of the Ming family, and his cultivation is 6 levels higher than that of Xiao Chen. But his heart was easily pierced by the opponent. This Sun Dot has posture of the great emperor. After we had had enough wine and food, Sister Zuner took me to my private hot springs. Looking at the back of classmate Medusa, I felt like my whole body was boiling with heat. And when Ming Juj felt the loss of physical vitality, he was preparing to hide his soul body. Xiao Chen suddenly struck out with another palm and pressed it directly on Ming Juj's forehead, causing the immortal soul lamp in the sea of consciousness to vibrate violently. A terrifying suction force swept out immediately, swallowing Ming Juj's soul on the spot. Sure enough, there is a soul mark in the soul, which can be used to determine whether the opponent is dead, and can the real murderer be determined after death. Feeling that there was someone else's soul mark on Ming Juj's soul, a sneer appeared on Xiao Chen's lips. He did not choose to refine Ming Juj's remaining soul now, but just suppressed Ming Juj in the immortal soul lamp. The cultivation level is still too low. It takes so many moves to kill a crappy saint child. There was a sense of urgency on Xiao Chen's face as he recovered Ming Juj's body, as well as the opponent's holy soldiers and Naji. Just a crappy saint child was all it took for him to do it. If there were a few more Saint Realm experts who had self-harmed their cultivation, wouldn't he be at risk of being besieged and perished? No, you still have to improve your cultivation quickly. If his cultivation can be improved to a few more small realms, he will be almost invincible in this secret realm. When thoughts fall, Xiao Chen didn't stay here either, and disappeared into the forest. 58%. Chapter 279. It doesn't feel like a secret realm of inheritance, but more like a secret realm of cultivating GU. The battle is over. Just after Xiao Chen killed Ming Juj, shortly after leaving the forest, figures appeared through the sky. Looking at the mess all around, there were still violent fluctuations of true energy in the air, and the faces of several people became very solemn at this time. And these 3 figures, it is several of the powerful Saint Realm experts from the Ming family who entered the secret realm this time. After entering the secret realm, the first thing they did was sense the location of the 2 saint children, and then join them as quickly as possible. Did not expect. As soon as he entered the secret realm, he was attacked by ferocious beasts, and also encountered strong men from other forces. After a big battle, they did not fight to the death with the strong men from other forces. After repelling the opponents, they rushed here. Unexpectedly, it was too late and the battle here ended. This wind-attributed true energy fluctuation is indeed that of the 3rd saint child. But why is the person missing? After carefully sensing the real energy fluctuations lingering in the air, one of the Ming family's strong men spoke with some confusion. Could it be that Saint Child has left? After speaking, he glanced at the surrounding mountains and forests, trying to find some traces of Ming Juj. But the soul thoughts spread crazily around, and still couldn't feel any breath. Keep the change, please. The 3rd saint child may be dead. While the man was searching for traces, another old man looked gloomy and suddenly said something shocking. What? After hearing the old man's words, the other 2 people looked at this man in disbelief and looked at him in horror. To know, Ming Juj is the 3rd saint child of the Ming family, and his combat power is very strong at the same level. Even these old guys are at the 9th level of heaven and human cultivation. It is not easy to defeat the opponent, let alone kill the opponent in a short time. Could it be that Ming Juj was besieged by many powerful men after entering the secret realm? Although I don't know what happened specifically, the soul mark induction of the 3rd saint child has been cut off from the heavenly soul compass. This situation, if the other party hadn't taken the initiative to block it, it would have probably died. In the horrified eyes of the other 2 people, the old man took out a compass and said in a heavy voice. When they enter the secret realm, they all have a mission. How could he actively block the soul seal induction? So, at this time, Ming Juj's soul seal fluctuations will not be felt, and there is a high probability that the other party has completely fallen. Go find the 2nd saint child and join the others. When his heart became heavy, the old man said to the other 2 people. No matter who the person who killed Ming Juj was, the opponent was definitely stronger than them. Therefore, only by quickly grouping together can we better deal with the enemy. When the words fell, the bodies of several people turned into a stream of light and disappeared into this mountain forest. Faced with Zuner's sister's invitation, I finally couldn't hold it back and took a bath together in a hot spring. The hot spring was really warm and made me feel like I had found my hometown. The other side. There was an explosion accompanied by a roar. Xiao Chen blasted a man in black into the ground, and the five elements Shira spear followed closely the next moment. Before the man could fly up, Xiao Chen penetrated the man's heart like a demon and nailed the man in black to the pit. As the opponent's vitality gradually dissipated, Xiao Chen leaned over and pressed his palm on the opponent's head, forcibly swallowing the guy's holy soul. Immediately afterwards, Xiao Chen gently waved his hand and recovered the body. The surrounding land was in a mess, as if a tragic battle had just occurred. "Sir, are you okay?" When Xiao Chen had just recovered the body of the man in black, three figures also rushed to Xiao Chen's side. And these three people, surprisingly, it was Lu Hanfei, the fourth elder of Wanhua sect, Yun Zhiro, the sixth elder, and Li Mengru, the seventh elder. Entering the secret realm, the three of them happened to be teleported to the same area, and the three of them gathered together in a short time with their special skills. But just when they were about to go find others, they encountered several powerful men from Xingqian Pavilion and Tianjian sect. These people were originally having a conflict, but they didn't expect to see them. He actually put aside his grudges and came towards them, and then the group of them fell into a bitter battle. Fortunately, although their cultivation levels have not reached the 9th level of heaven and human realm, they are blessed with several treasures given by Xiao Chen. In addition, the three people practice the same sect and have the same origin, so they cooperate with each other very well. Therefore, the four powerful men from Tianjian sect and Xingqian Pavilion were unable to defeat them in a short period of time. Over time, a few of them were weaker due to their cultivation, and there was one less person than the other party. After Lu Hanfei, Yun Zhiro and others persisted for half an hour, their true energy began to become weak. But just when they felt that they would have to pay a heavy price to escape, Xiao Chen suddenly appeared like a demon, severely injuring someone in just one encounter. Then they cooperated with a few of them to contain each other. In less than half a quarter of an hour, these four people were killed one after another. "It's okay, just a few minions." After hearing the words of Lu Hanfei and others, Xiao Chen raised his head and said with a smile. After sensing that Lu Hanfei and others were not particularly far away from him, Xiao Chen rushed here at full speed, killing several ferocious beasts in the secret realm on the way. After devouring and refining those demon cores, his cultivation also broke through to the 4th level of heaven and human realm. Just a small improvement in realm made his combat power increase dramatically again. Now, even if he faces the siege of several strong men, he can handle it with ease. Not to mention, there were also Lu Hanfei and others on the side to contain them, so they were killed without any injuries. Recover and get ready to find Qian, Zuying and the others. After saying something to Lu Hanfei and others, Xiao Chen casually threw a few demon cores at them. Certainly, these demon cores have been refined by him with the demonic fire that purifies the world. The evil nature hidden deep in the demon cores has long since disappeared. Therefore, the demon cores of these ferocious beasts are just great tonics for them. Moreover, the medicinal properties are very mild and can be easily absorbed and refined. Rumble. Just when Lu Hanfei and others took over the demon core and devoured the energy inside to recover, the entire secret realm suddenly shook. Xiao Chen, Lu Hanfei and others raised their heads with solemn expressions. Then his pupils couldn't help but shrink. "What is that?" When I looked over, I could only see the distant sky. A dark purple thunderstorm barrier is coming here at a specific speed. Wherever you go, thunder continued to pound the earth. Ancient trees were blown into ashes in an instant, and the ferocious beasts in the secret territory continued to escape in all directions. As the thunderstorm barrier moved, it roared and rushed towards them. That magnificent scene, Xiao Chen, Lu Hanfei and others were stunned. This is a poisonous circle. Seeing this thunderstorm barrier, Xiao Chen seemed to remember something and couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. Why is this thing similar to the game of chicken he played before he was reborn? Just that small island in the game has been replaced by a secret realm tens of thousands of miles in size. Sir, that layer of thunder and storm barrier seems to be driving all living creatures towards the center of the secret realm. When Xiao Chen felt incredible, Lu Hanfei spoke with a serious voice. Well, although I don't know if the last time the secret realm was opened, it also had the same secret realm rules. But there is definitely some huge danger hidden within this secret. Xiao Chen said with a solemn expression after hearing this. Whether it was the evil nature contained in the demon core or the thunderstorm circle that suddenly appeared at this time, all prove that this secret realm is a little weird. It doesn't feel like a secret realm of inheritance, but more like a secret realm of cultivating GU. This thunderstorm circle will not shrink to the center of the secret realm so quickly. Our top priority is to find Qian, Zuying and others first. When the words fell, relying on the sense of tracking the soul mark, Xiao Chen took Lu Hanfei and others into the forest. 58%. Chapter 280. I have never been in contact with a man in my life, causing my personality to become a little distorted. The other side. It has been half a day since the opening of the Supreme Secret Realm in the inner area of the Supreme Secret Realm. The fighting in the entire Secret Realm has also entered a white-hot state. Facing the many strong men who entered the Secret Realm, the villains in the Secret Realm seemed to be going crazy and kept attacking these foreign intruders. The strong men of the four major forces realized that the demon cores of these demonic beasts could be directly absorbed by refining. Each and every one of them went crazy to kill the ferocious beasts in the Secret Realm and collect demon cores. Although under the suppression of the laws of the Secret Realm, no matter how many demon cores they refine, there is no way to break through to the Saint Realm with your cultivation level, but you can turn it into foundation and accumulate it in your body. Wait until you get out of the Secret Realm. It was easier than they thought if they wanted to return to their previous cultivation. And during the second rebuilding and tempering, the foundation will become stronger. If you can find some treasures of heaven and earth in the future, you can repair the hidden wounds left by self-inflicted cultivation. Perhaps we can also use this wave of accumulation to break through to a higher level. Under this plan, the beasts in the Secret Realm were blood-bathed, and because strong men from other forces were not able to recover the bodies like Xiao Chen. Therefore, after killing the ferocious beast in the Secret Realm, it is basically just to take away the demon core, and the body is discarded in the mountains. And no one noticed. The flesh and blood essence of these corpses abandoned in the mountains are being lost crazily. Soon it turned into a mummy, and then turned into a ball of ashes. Just like the flesh and blood essence, it was all swallowed up by the secret land. Even with the death of some powerful people, their strong resentment remains in the world. Invisible to the naked eye, they are also converging towards the center of the Secret Realm. Sister, they are catching up. And when this fighting entered a fever pitch, the thunderstorm circle shrank to 5,000 miles. After Duanmu Zuying glanced behind her, she said to Duanmu Zuying in a solemn voice. Don't worry about them. The secret is in chaos now. We must find the young master first. After hearing Duanmu Zuying's words, Duanmu Zuying looked very cold and said in a heavy voice. And next to her, Xu Danqing's aura was a little disordered, and there was a lot of evil energy between her brows. It was obvious that she had just experienced a big battle. The same is true for Michelle Yeoh and Li Qingying. Each of them looked a little pale, and their breath seemed disordered. Not long after entering the Secret Realm, they gathered together. They had just killed some ferocious beasts in the Secret Realm, and before they found Xiao Chen and others, they met the powerful men from the Taiyan sect. When the other party saw that they also practiced Xuanian Kung Fu, they asked nicely about their origins at first. But they learned that the skills they practiced actually came from the Queen Mother Xuanian master. He actually said that he was inherited from the traitor of the sect. No wonder they all refused to keep their innocence and have their innocence tarnished by men, yet they still have the nerve to live in this world. Finished. The strong men from the Taiyan sect attacked them. Although these powerful people from the Taiyan sect are very strong, none of them are vegetarians. With the equipment given by Xiao Chen, there is also the combined fencing formation of Wanwaman. These old witches from the Taiyan gate can't do anything to them. But it would be difficult for Duanmu Zuying and others to severely injure them. In addition, they all cared about Xiao Chen and others, so they did not fight to the death with these people. After fighting off a few people, Duanmu Zuying relied on the tracking soul mark Xiao Chen left on her body, and after roughly sensing the opponent's specific location, she led Duanmu Zuying and others out of the encirclement. Prepare to find Xiao Chen, Li Mengru and others first. After all, among the group of people who entered the Secret Realm, the cultivation levels of Xiao Chen, Li Mengru and others. Almost at the bottom of the pile. If you encounter strong men from the four major forces, without them holding the battle, there may be casualties. After feeling the warmth of my hometown, I returned to the room and saw Medusa in her pajamas. She looked over with a resentful look. It seemed that she would not be able to sleep well tonight. You guys, where else do you want to run to? Just when Duanmu Zuying and others used the Xuanian wind god wings to quickly approach the location of Xiao Chen and others. Following a cold voice, suddenly echoed in the void. In front of Duan Muzuying and others, two figures appeared at this moment, with equally deserted and beautiful faces. When the two figures emerged, countless petals fell from the void. Next moment, the terrifying yin qi swept across the void, and the petals condensed with terrifying fluctuations of true energy, hitting Duan Muzuying and others like a heavy rain. These two people, they are Chu Ningshuang, the second saint of Taiyin sect, and Han Xueqing, the third saint. They are all geniuses who have cultivated to the fourth level of sainthood at the age of less than 40 years old. Damn it, prepare to fight to the death. Seeing the two white-haired beauties appearing in front of them, Duan Muzuying couldn't help but let out a low drink. Almost as soon as the words came out, a phantom of a goddess appeared behind her, as the Xuanian true essence swept through the void. A terrifying divine ability-killing move also shot towards the sky full of petals. Duan Muzuying and Xu Danqing also used divine ability at this moment and blasted the petals all over the sky. As for Michelle Yeoh and Li Qingying, they turned around and formed a true energy barrier, guarding the rear of several people. Block the Taiyin sword qi wielded by the Taiyin sect strongmen who were chasing them. Boom! Along with the roaring sound that shook the sky and the earth, the void where Duan Muzuying and others were was immediately overwhelmed by the terrifying true energy impact. One after another, white-haired figures descended directly around the storm. Based on the position of the Bagua array, Duan Muzuying and others were surrounded. As the true energy storm dissipated, Duan Muzuying and his party gathered together in a five-pointed star formation. There are even formations all around. It's like several people used themselves as the base of the formation to form some kind of terrifying formation. This is the combined attack formation that the top management of Wanhua sect spent more than 1,000 years researching. The formation can only be formed by strong men who have the same origin, cooperate with each other tacitly, and have roughly the same level of cultivation. Certainly, it takes a lot of time to practice this kind of combined attack formation. Duan Muzuying and others only mastered this combined attack formation after more than 10 years of training with each other. You are all very talented. You are actually able to receive divine ability attacks from several of us with this combined attack formation. But as defective products derived from the Taiyin sect, you should know. Primordial yin is the source of power condensed by the power of Xuanian or the power of Taiyin. And all of you in this group are naked. This is a huge blasphemy to the entire Taiyin sect. Seeing Duan Muzuying and others actually blocking this divine ability, Chu Ningshuang's eyes glanced at several people in surprise, and her voice continued as cold as ice at this moment. However, if you can tell me why yin origin can remain so pure and secret even after primordial yin was broken, perhaps this saint can spare your lives and make an exception to plead for you. Let you become the outer disciples of the Taiyin sect and follow us into the eastern domain profound heaven to practice. After Chu Ningshuang finished speaking, Han Xueqing and other powerful men from the Taiyin sect couldn't help but have their eyes twinkling at this moment. The technique of Taiyinmen is very strange. Once you practice, you must keep your body pure so that your own yin origin can continue to become more pure. But because her own yin energy is too strong, she cannot have yin and yang intercourse with a man. The body will gradually lose some of the joy of being a woman. Although there won't be any backlash due to skill issues, he will become like a zombie. If you can get it from Duan Muzuying and others. After knowing why he lost his virginity, not only will his cultivation level not plummet, yin origin can also maintain a pure secret. They may be able to try it in the future. How wonderful the fusion between men and women is. Instead of condensing primordial yin for thousands of years like those high-level sects. I have never been in contact with a man in my life, which has caused my personality to become a little distorted. Caused my personality to become